Cuts are putting that progress at risk.
There's been funding and staffing cuts at NIH and CDC, and there's been cuts to healthcare.
Bender says lives hang in the balance.
The ALA says nearly 227,000 people will be diagnosed with lung cancer this year. Wall Street bounced back today. The Dow closed up 226 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you are looking for a trusted local law firm with a strong commitment to their clients, look no further than Zebley Law Offices. Attorney Zebley has been practicing law in Fayette County for more than 4 decades. Although specializing in bankruptcy, Zebley also handles real estate matters, civil suits, collections, wills, powers of attorney, and more. If you need legal help, go with a name you recognize and trust. Call Zebley Law Offices today at 724-439-9200.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the Better Business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
The family of an iconic American artist isn't happy with the Department of Homeland Security.
Norman Rockwell's family is venting in an opinion essay in USA Today. His eldest son, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are denouncing the department for using some of the artist's paintings of 20th century Americans with slogans like "Protect Our American Way of Life" and "Defend Your Culture" to promote the Trump administration's ICE raids. Family members say they're devastated to see Rockwell's work marshaled for the cause of what they call persecution toward immigrant communities and people of color. They say it's time to follow in the artist's footsteps and stand for the values he truly wished to share: compassion, inclusiveness, and justice for all. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Toyota's recalling more than 1 million cars in the U.S. due to a flaw that may cause a rear-view camera to fail. It covers 2022 to 2026 Toyota and Lexus models. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. And now the news.
And a very good afternoon, 5:05:64 outside of our Davis & Davis studios on this Wednesday afternoon under cloudy skies. The Davis & Davis attorneys at law voted Fayette County's best law firm 2025. Your local station, 590 and 101.1 WMBS. The Weather Watch and sports on the way in just a bit. The investigation is ongoing into an accident at a Greene County mine this week. It happened late Monday evening. 6 people were hurt in the underground incident involving a water hose at the Harvey Mine in Sycamore Borough on Patterson Creek Road. 5 of the injured individuals have been released from the hospital, and there has been no word on the condition of the 6th. Pennsylvania voters have decided to retain 3 Pennsylvania Supreme Court justices who were on the ballot yesterday. That would preserve the Democrats' 5-2 majority on the Commonwealth's High Court. Assuming the unofficial results hold, Justices Kevin Dougherty and David Wecht won 10-year terms, while Christine Donahue will serve until 2027, when she will reach the mandatory retirement age of 75 for justices. All Fayette County and statewide results are up on our WMBS Facebook page. Westmoreland County is taking out a loan from the Pennsylvania Treasury Department. Westmoreland receives just less than 25% of its funding from the state, and those funds are being held up due to the ongoing budget stalemate in Harrisburg. The county is borrowing nearly $12 million to help it cover expenditures through the end of 2025. Pennsylvania Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan is urging U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson to work with leadership for both sides of the aisle to find a solution to the government shutdown at the federal level. Houlihan made a request while interrupting a House Republican news conference this afternoon, where Johnson opened the floor for questions. The speaker responded by telling the Congresswoman that she should respect free speech and decorum, and added that he would love to talk to Houlihan in his office. A Capitol Police officer reportedly approached Houlihan, but retreated after she said she is a member of Congress. And the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh is looking forward to honoring the nation's service members on Veterans Day next week. All guests to the Children's Museum will get in for free Tuesday the 11th in recognition of the holiday. The museum will also be featuring some special activities and programs for the occasion, among them a letter writing station for sending letters to veterans and a new exhibit highlighting the Tuskegee Airmen. There will also be a presentation and a question and answer session with the North Coast chapter of Tuskegee Airmen Incorporated. And the Holiday Lights event is returning to Kennywood this month. The winter time feature kicks off November 14th at the amusement park in West Mifflin. There'll be new features for this season, among them the Gingerbread Express ride and a light show synchronized to Christmas music. Holiday Lights at Kennywood features over 3 million lots around the park and a Pennsylvania Christmas tree that's the tallest in the state. More next on WMBS.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
And the Mega Millions jackpot is now up to $843 million. One of these days, Doug. One of these days, Alice. There was no grand prize winner on last night's big drawing, so the next chance to strike at which will come around Friday. Ahead of that, though, there's a Powerball drawing that's this evening at 11, and it stands at an estimated a measly $438 million. So if you win that, tough luck. They're going to take most of it on taxes anyway. The FDA is issuing a recall for America's top-selling cholesterol-lowering drug.
The recall involves more than 140,000 bottles of atorvastatin calcium tablets. The action was initiated by Ascend Laboratories based in New Jersey, which sold the pills imported from India under its label. There were problems with the way the tablets dissolve. Multiple strengths of atorvastatin are affected, including 10, 20, 40, and 80 milligram tablets. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
And this is your local station where it is 5:09, 64 degrees outside of our Davis & Davis studios. The Weather Watch in just a bit. In sports, we will bring you the Penguins on Thursday evening, taking on the Capitals, looking to snap their skid. They take on Washington at home at 6:30 with a pregame game at 7:30 on WMBS. Friday night, high school football, another C.R. Parado Group High School Sports Night. Sprouse Insurance Group pregame at 6 and the game at 7. It's Fraser taking on Bishop Canevin, the Commodores and the Crusaders at Cannon Mac High School. It's a 1A quarterfinal round football matchup. Radio and video coverage of that. Again, the Sprouse Insurance Group pregame at 6, game at 7. Triple Live scoreboard show after the game on WMBS. And a veteran member of the Steelers' defense is going to remain in center field. Head coach Mike Tomlin said that Jalen Ramsey won't move from safety for at least another week. The 31-year-old was moved to the position after injuries and illnesses piled up. Heading into the Steelers' game against Indianapolis, a win for the Steelers. He was an outside cornerback for most of his tenure. And yes, that is a football term, center field, for the position Ramsey plays. Not official, Doug, so that quizzical look has now been addressed. And now the weather watch for all of southwest Pennsylvania. The overnight low tonight down to 37, went up to 69 today, 54 with sun Thursday, up to 68 with rain likely Friday for the weekend. Chance of showers, otherwise cloudy skies Saturday at 59, overnight low down to 43, rain and a chance of some light snow Sunday at 55, low at 31, only up to 34 on Monday, the low down at 26. It's well below sleeping weather. Good throw there, 39 degrees on Tuesday. And the overnight low is down to 36. Right now, 66 degrees at 5:11. Good afternoon. I'm Nick Barczyk. The Stug Report on the way next, an hour one of a 3-hour afternoon drive show with Doug Saltzman. Strap in, folks, on the way next on WMBS.
The local, district, and statewide news was brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51.
Good evening. This is Jeremy Hoover of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 225 points, closing at 47,311. The NASDAQ Composite was up 151 points, closing at 23,500. The S&P 500 was up 24 points, closing at 6,796. Among companies of local interest were Apple, $270.14, up 10 cents. Amazon, $250.20, up 88 cents. Cisco, $72.10, down 22 cents. Boeing, $197.62, down 43 cents. Caterpillar, $569.15, up $21.57. Disney, $111.36, down 11 cents. ExxonMobil, $113.68, down 46 cents. First Energy, $45.69, down 46 cents. Johnson & Johnson, $186, down 86 cents. Home Depot, $373.84, down $9.24. Intel, $38.38, up $1.35. McDonald's, $305.67, up $6.46. Meta Platforms, $635.95, up $8.63. PNC Financial Services, $184.15, up $1.20. Raytheon Technologies, $174, down $1.61. Rockwell Automation, $362.60, up $2.75. Tesla, $462.07, up $17.81. Verizon, $39.69, up 37 cents. Walmart, $101.47, down 80 cents. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 225 points, closing at 47,311. The NASDAQ Composite was up 151 points, closing at 23,500. The S&P 500 was up 24 points, closing at 6,796. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all of your investment needs, this is Jeremy Hoover.
It's a new day at WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital, and we're bringing a new level of quality health care to our community. From primary care to specialty services, our team has always put patients first. And now, thanks to our merger with WVU Medicine, our commitment to patient-centered care has grown even stronger. With new resources, a growing staff, and advanced technology, our team is here to provide you with top-quality care when it matters most. Discover the new Uniontown Hospital and see how we've grown.
Zen's Antiques and Home Decor, part of the Cinder Shack family of vendors, where you can find both antique and new furniture, collectibles, housewares, gift items, including jewelry and candles, and so much more. Follow Zen's Antiques and Home Decor on Facebook for new items and information on upcoming events. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor in Building 2 at 3391 National Pike in Farmington. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor.
Chris Parker Jr., Trick or Treat is over. What's going on at Autoland?
Treats continue here at Autoland with 0% for 60 months on all 25 Tucsons and Santa Fe's.
0% for 60 months?
That's right, 0% for 5 years on the award-winning all-wheel drive Tucson and Santa Fe's with third-row seating, plus 0% on the hybrid Tucson and Santa Fe's. Don't want 0% financing? Choose HMF Bonus Cash up to $4,500 on Santa Fe's. Winter weather is coming. Now's the time to get your all-wheel drive SUV with 0% financing and have a vehicle big enough for the family and hauling gifts. Did you know Hyundai is also the most awarded brand by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety for the past 2 years?
And every new Hyundai purchase includes Hyundai Assurance, America's Best Warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain protection, and 3-year free complimentary maintenance. Autoland Hyundai, downtown Uniontown, or online at AutolandHyundai.com.
And you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
Friday is another CR Product Group High School Sports Night here on WMBS. Join us for WPIL High School Football Playoff action as the Fraser Commodores battle the Bishop Canevin Crusaders in a single-A quarterfinal round game at Cannon McMillan High School. Hi, I'm Brian Morozak. Tony Hanola will join me to bring you all of the exciting play-by-play action. Our Sprouse Insurance Group pregame show starts at 6 with the opening kickoff set for 7. And stay tuned after the game for the Trib Live Scoreboard Show with Don Rebel. That's Friday night high school football playoff action. Fraser taking on Bishop Canevin and Cannon Mac Friday at 7 here on WMBS.
Now that the autumn season is upon us, the leaves are falling. And so are the prices at Chesler's Fine Furniture, Route 51 in Uniontown. You can purchase beautiful selections of furniture, bedding, and accessories store-wide only at Chesler's during the Fall Harvest Extravaganza. You can save up to 40% off select merchandise, plus receive 90 days same as cash. Never have so many great money-saving offers been combined into a sale. And the best part? Nothing is held back. All Chesler's famous home furnishings are available to you, including Vaughn Bassett, Riverside, Craftmaster, Lancer, Lazy Boy, Best Home Furnishings, Pulaski, and White Dove. Remember, this sale is open to the public and can only be found at Chesler's. Layaway, credit terms, and delivery are available. Chesler's Fine Furniture, Route 51 in Uniontown, where customers send their friends.
Located on Route 40 and voted best in Fayette Hotel and Lodging, Super 8 in Uniontown offers value and amenities like free breakfast, free Wi-Fi, and guest laundry to help make your stay hassle-free. The staff at Super 8 Uniontown is committed to providing consistent quality, exceptional service, and affordable accommodations. Their prime location offers jacuzzi suites and a true Fayette County hospitality with easy access to nearby attractions, dining, and entertainment for you to enjoy. As part of the trusted Wyndham brand, Super 8 provides a consistent and reliable experience. Book direct at super8.com.
It's the day after the general election here in, I was going to say Pennsylvania, but it's national.
Well, not the general election, but an election. Municipal.
No, it was the general election. There's the primary election, the general election.
Oh, that's true. I guess that's...
Oh, for heaven. Dick, when you were heavier, you were a lot smarter.
I knew that was coming. Wow, I guess you're right. There is a general every year. But let's admit, I hate the term off year, but it wasn't a midterm or a presidential election.
No, it was
It's
not.
still a general. I guess you're right.
But
boy, I don't want to argue politics with you, Doug.
On the national level and at the state level, it was a Democratic sweep.
Yes, it was.
The three...
Can you believe a Democrat won the mayor's race in Pittsburgh and New York City? I'm stunned.
That's a shocker.
Yeah.
You talk about two entirely different people.
Oh, my God.
Corey O'Connor, he's been around quite some time. Although when you see him, he looks like he's 24 years old.
I know.
He's the youngest looking guy.
Looks younger than me.
And, of
jealous.
course, his father was a longtime member of Pittsburgh City Council, got elected mayor, and sadly was dead within 6 months of a brain tumor.
Was that quick?
Tragic.
He was only mayor 6 months.
6 months.
I was young when that happened. I remember it.
Yeah, that was, and I knew him well because he served on council. He's president of council at one point. We had similar positions. He was the southwestern PA guy for Governor Rendell, and of course I was with Specter. But back to his son, who this is two elections in a row where a Pittsburgh mayor has been defeated in the primary.
That's amazing.
And of course, it's about a 5-1 voter registration edge in Pittsburgh, Democrat versus Republican.
So Peduto and Gainey are at the bar, drowning their sorrows right now. No.
Sometimes you want to get yourself reelected, especially someone like Peduto, who served, 3 terms? He's probably thinking, man, I'm glad to be out.
Oh, I'm sure. Who wants that stress? Well, I guess some people do.
Yeah, I remember talking to a state rep years ago after he lost. He said, I was upset on election night. The next morning I got up and I'm like, wow, this isn't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah, mow the lawn, hang out.
Yeah, get a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
And if somebody comes up to you and has a problem, say, well, you call the person who beat me.
That's funny you mentioned that. John McCain in his book said the day after he lost the 2008 election, he said him and his wife Cindy just walked into Starbucks, got the coffee, walked out, no Secret Service.
Yeah.
Said it was a relief. It's like, I really wanted to be president, but I like getting that cup of coffee in peace even more.
Vice presidents, of course, have Secret Service protection, and it goes for 6 months after they're vice president. And many years ago, a friend of mine who was in Indianapolis was in a Target store, and walking down the aisle was Dan Quayle.
Wow. Jeez.
I don't know, maybe not exactly 6 months, but
hi, Mr. Vice President.
Within a year.
Wow.
He seemed like a nice guy. I met him a couple times at the Indy 500. He was always there. I remember he'd do interviews on TV, knew his stuff. Of course, when you're from Indianapolis. I met my counterpart, who was director of his Indianapolis regional office, and he went on to become Secretary of Homeland Security. So his career went a little different than mine.
Tom Ridge. Oh, Dan Coates.
Dan Coates, who at one point flew into Pittsburgh on a private plane with my old boss, Arlen Specter. They were going to one of the Republican Lincoln Day dinners. Dan Coates was the guest speaker.
Oh.
And he got off the plane and at the Allegheny County Airport and went into town for the event. When he got there, he realized he left his suit coat on the plane.
So Coates left his coat behind.
So I call
oh boy.
Specter said, Doug, we got to get this guy's coat. I'm like, oh, jeez. So I called my wife because we live literally 5-10 minutes away from the airport. And I said, okay, this is a big ask. Could you pick up this guy's coat and drive it downtown? She said, you owe me.
Wow.
So he actually, Senator Coates, Dan Coates, wrote my then wife, Jill, a note saying, "You would think somebody with my name would remember his coat."
Well, that's pretty funny.
Thanks for picking it up for
That's
me.
great.
Yeah, that was.
At least he had a sense of humor.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Coats, forgot his coat.
That happens. I hear Anthony Weiner left his hot dog once somewhere.
Did he do that? Okay, I'm glad you said hot
his
dog.
wiener, yeah. I
That's right,
didn't know where to go with that. I was trying to make a joke, but
No, that was a good joke.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd have had FCC problems if
Yes.
you'd gone the other direction. Coming up here in just a couple minutes, we're going to check in with Colonel Jeff McCausland. We'll be talking election day, election results, of course. Chris Nicholas is going to join us at 5:35 to talk about the results yesterday. But before that, we thought we'd check in with the CBS correspondent. I was going to talk to him a little bit later, but he's off at 6. You know, these things. It's all about scheduling.
that's it, Doug. And it's amazing people don't want to mess their whole schedule up just for us. I mean, the nerve of them.
Republicans in California are now filing a lawsuit related to the referendum that passed. That
Yeah,
will
I mean-
redistrict the state. So who do you think we'll talk to about a legal matter?
I would say Mr. Rosenbaum,
That's the
Thane
one. Well, we're hoping
Rosenbaum.
to. I'm waiting to hear.
I almost
if
said
it's
Larry
available.
Magid because he's in California,
Uh-oh.
but
I just got the text message from CBS in New York.
Uh-oh.
Thane is not available.
oh, Thane. He loves hearing the sound of our voice.
He
What
does.
is he doing?
Who does he think he is, for heaven's
Well,
sake?
what could he possibly be doing that's more
important than this.
Well, yeah. What does he have? An interview with Mayor-elect Mondani or something?
I'm not sure what's happening there. So,
Yeah.
Well, so much for that.
Wow, that's a shame. I like Thane. He's a brilliant guy.
And there's one thing to be brilliant, and we've had brilliant people on, and they talk in their brilliant language.
Yeah, they're a little boring, frankly, and they're highfalutin.
You want to talk in language that everybody. So what Nick and I do, if we assume if we can understand it, everybody listening can understand it.
Absolutely. We're the bar.
So that's it. But coming up, as I mentioned, Colonel Jeff McCausland will be joining us in a minute. We'll get the latest. Nigeria is now in the mix of things dealing with the U.S. and possible military involvement. So we'll get his take on that, and we'll get the latest on Russia, Ukraine as well. The war that President Putin thought was going to be over in 4 weeks. I like the story that Colonel McCausland has told that the Russian soldiers were told to bring their well, we'll go to that in a minute. But yeah, they were convinced that war was going to be over very, very quickly. And as our next guest mentioned, the Russian soldiers were told to take their dress uniforms with them because they were convinced there was going to be a victory parade 4 weeks after the war started. Well, that didn't work out. But we want to talk to him both about that and the latest now, the issues in Nigeria. And joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line, retired Army Colonel, National Security and Military Analyst and Consultant, Colonel Jeff McCausland. Colonel, thank you very much for joining us today, sir. Let's start with Russia-Ukraine, the war that keeps going and going and going. It gets sidelined off the front page of the newspaper or below the fold, for those who know what that means. But it's still a very hot issue, is it not?
Without a question, we are still seeing the Russians losing probably 1,000 casualties or more every single day. Total casualties for the Russian military over 1 million, probably 200,000 killed every single day. And the Ukrainians obviously suffering it very badly as well, probably half those number of casualties. And as you kind of suggested at the top, Doug, no real end in sight in this war, which very soon will be has existed for over 4 years.
Yeah, we're talking about time frames equal to the World War II. When you think about at least the U.S. involvement in World War II went 4 years, and as there's been focus on it, and there was supposed to be a meeting between President Trump and President Putin, but that abruptly got canceled, no doubt, because the administration was not pleased with the actions being taken by the Russian military. Correct?
That's absolutely correct. Now, I think furthermore, they became convinced that the Russians really had little interest in negotiating any kind of a settlement. You might recall back in August, President Trump went to Anchorage, Alaska, and physically met with Putin. Kind of a chummy meeting, it seemed, at the onset. They seemed to be getting along very, very well. Mr. Trump, in his travels to Alaska, said that he was going there to secure a ceasefire, and that if a ceasefire wasn't offered or wasn't agreed to by the Russians, there would be severe consequences. Well, Doug, we've never had a ceasefire, and there have been no severe consequences. And the Russian dialogue has always been that one must address, as they say it, the root causes of the war before a ceasefire could be achieved. For them, the root causes is the end of the Zelensky government, the full compromise of the 4 provinces they claim are theirs, an acknowledgement not only by the Ukrainians but by the Western community that those are actual Russian territory, severe restrictions on the size of the Ukrainian military and future, an end to military aid to Ukraine, no admission of Ukraine to NATO, and furthermore, even the adoption of Russian as the official language of Ukraine. So in essence, what they've been saying continually is, when you're ready to surrender, we'll be happy to provide a ceasefire.
Yeah, of course, in the early days of this war, there was a great exodus of Ukrainians crossing the border into Poland and elsewhere. I assume that's continuing, and we're talking a sizable amount of the population has left their homeland, correct?
That's correct. Several million left initially. A number of them did, in fact, return because, of course, the Ukrainians did recover some territory. That being said, it appears to me now one of the Russian strategies may be by intensifying the bombardment they're doing against Ukrainian infrastructure, particularly energy. They're trying to make it as difficult as possible for the Ukrainian population, make it a very cold winter, if you will, for the Ukrainian people, and perhaps ignite another exodus of Ukrainians, another refugee flow, which they would see as putting more and more pressure on Western Europe to try to cut aid to Ukraine and convince Ukraine to basically give up.
Moving on to the second topic with Colonel Jeff McCausland, Nigeria. President Trump said that he is making Nigeria a, quote, country of particular concern under the International Religious Freedom Act. So that creates 2 questions. First off, what is a country of particular concern? What is the definition of that? Or is there one?
Well, I'm a little unclear on that. I think it's just a matter of fair warning that we're paying careful attention to what's occurring in your particular country. And this was motivated, it appears, by a Fox News podcast that focused on this, and comments made by West Virginia congressmen who claimed that thousands of Christians had been killed and persecuted in the northeastern portion of Nigeria. And this idea of making it a country of focus had been further echoed in speeches by Senator Ted Cruz of the great state of Texas, and that's kicked off Mr. Trump's response. That being said, independent analysis suggests that, yes, there have been attacks on Christians by Boko Haram, the primary terrorist group, but Boko Haram is kind of a, if you will, an equal opportunity terrorist organization, and it attacks Muslim groups as well as Christians. And in fact, most analysis suggests there are far more attacks against Muslims in Nigeria than there are, in fact, attacks by Christians.
Yeah, and he said that the president said this is under the International Religious Freedom Act. Again, who passed that act? Is that a U.S. act, legislation? Is that something the UN? I mean, if it's an act, I'm guessing it's a law. Where did that come from? That's the first I've ever heard of this.
I'm a little bit unclear of that one myself, to tell you the truth. I would imagine it would have to be something under international law. But if it was under international law, then I would think the Trump administration also would make this an issue at the UN Security Council in New York. And I've seen no evidence whatsoever that the administration is moving in that direction.
Again, joining us today on the afternoon drive show, Colonel Jeff McCausland. Colonel, as always, we thank you for your service and thank you for updating us on these 2 topics. The one we've been talking to you about for, my gosh, now,
4 years.
4 years, and this latest in Nigeria. More things, more issues, more information to come on that one, no doubt. So, Colonel, as always, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Take care, Doug.
Thank you. Colonel Jeff McCausland joining us here on the Afternoon Drive Show. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk politics, yesterday's election, and get the latest from who better, Christopher Nicholas, a veteran GOP consultant and analyst and editor of the Pennsylvania Political Digest. But first, this is the Afternoon Drive Show on WMBS.
This is attorney Michael Mays of the Davis & Davis Law Firm. We have been helping injured people just like you recover millions of dollars for over 45 years. If you're hurt or injured, I want to meet you and make sure you get the money that you deserve. Call me at 724-437-2799 for your free consultation. The Davis & Davis Law Firm has been protecting our neighbors in Greene and Fayette counties for over 45 years. Go to davisanddavislaw.com or call 724-437-2799 for your free consultation.
It's a day that ends in Y, so it's a day that you might decide you don't want to cook. That means it's the perfect day to order Fat Angelo's. Offering delicious pizzas, salads, hoagies, strombolis and calzones, wings, and more. And with 12 locations across the area ready to serve you, today is the day to visit FatAngelosPizza.com, where you can quickly and conveniently find your local shop and place your order online. Or get the local phone number and give them a call. Order up!
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Cooler temperatures may be on the way, but you could still enjoy your deck or patio with retractable or fixed awnings from Lifetime Awnings. Made in the USA with manufacturers and customer guarantees, Lifetime Awnings products last. Lifetime Awnings is veteran-owned and operated with a 10% discount to all military veterans and their families. Call Lifetime Awnings 724-554-6067 for a no-cost or obligation home consultation. Or email John, the owner, at lifetimeawningsusa@gmail.com.
Bad hair day? Bad day at the office? Bad day behind the wheel? Hey, stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your Erie agent in Uniontown and Ross Traver Township is Sprowls Insurance Group, 724-437-9812, or go to sprowlsinsurance.com.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
That's Yes, bring us out of the break. And Nick and I were just debating when that song came out on the Fragile LP.
It says 71.
1971. Holy cow.
Holy
Roundabout,
Toledo.
I think, was their song that hit the highest in the...
I would imagine. They're in the Rock Hall now, right? After the bipartisan
Finally,
push.
there's a big
Congress.
push.
Congress said, forget the government and global warming and money for poor people. We got to get Yes in the Rock Hall.
We were part of that effort along with people from the Clinton administration were pushing to have Yes in the Hall of Fame. Now,
That was in the 90s.
Now we
Wow.
need to refocus. Well, it wasn't while they were in office.
Oh, I see. Now we need to focus on getting Donna Summer and Bill Withers out of the Rock Hall
and
of Fame.
get who was the one we want to get in?
Jethro Tull.
Jethro Tull.
Ian Anderson.
That's right.
The best flautist in rock history.
Also, the only flutist in rock history, I think.
Yes. Flautist.
Joining us right now, we can talk about rock and roll if we want. On the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, a veteran Republican political consultant and analyst, Christopher Nicholas. Christopher, happy day after election. I'm sure you took at least a half-hour rest, and now you're ready to go for 2026.
Yeah, I was thinking about rock flutists, and that kept me going through the dark hours. So I'm glad you guys are talking about that.
Yeah, it was to say it was a Democratic sweep is not inaccurate. I was surprised, frankly, on the two races for actual elections for judge, Superior Court, and Commonwealth Court at the statewide level, just how lopsided those wins were. Were you surprised by those?
Well, one of the reasons it's a wave is that it brings across candidates who did not deserve to win, who didn't run winning campaigns. So let me focus on a race in Dauphin County, Harrisburg. We had 2 open judgeships. Republicans ran the well-respected, well-regarded district attorney and the recorder of deeds. Democrats ran a rich lady who'd lived here for only a couple of years and then a perennial candidate. The rich woman spent $450,000 and won. The other perennial candidate on the Democratic side spent $3,000 and won. So in normal times, at least one of the Republicans, the DA or the recorder of deeds, who spent the appropriate, $150,000, $200,000, would have been rewarded with a win, but that's not what happened yesterday. And think back to a year ago. A year ago, there were 5 statewide seats on the ballot. Republicans won all 5 of them. If through some hijinks there had been more than 5 seats on the ballot that day, Republicans would have won them. Yesterday, there were essentially 7 statewide seats on the ballot. Democrats won all of them. If there had somehow been more, they would have won all of them as well. When you ask specifically about the people running for Superior and Commonwealth courts, think about it. Voter registration in the state is essentially tied. 42% and change for my side, 42% and change for the Democrats. That's statewide. That's not in any one particular county. That's statewide. And yet, those Democrats running yesterday for Superior and Commonwealth Court, they each got about 55-ish, 56%, right? So, all things being equal, that meant that a lot of the non-Republicans, Democrats, the independents, went all one way, and that's what sometimes can happen in these type of wave elections.
Yeah. We just got an email here at radiosaltzman@gmail.com asking where Dauphin County is, and that's an understandable question. Not everybody knows the county. Of course, that's the Harrisburg's the county seat of Dauphin County. To answer that question from one of our listeners,
yes.
And when I looked at the numbers on the Supreme Court retention, and we spent a lot of time on the show talking about that, it was. The yes vote or the no vote, I could look at this, was within 10,000. It's not as if one person was focused on and barely won re-election or retention. 61.73%, 61.73%, 61.4%. That's about as close as you can get.
The big, going out on a limb prediction I made a couple of weeks ago was that all 5 of the candidates for retention, they'd either all win or all lose because they were treated as kind of, a bulk issue, right? And that was brought to us because all 5 were Democrats. So that meant the Democrats and their allies could say, hey, vote yes. They could reduce everything to vote yes. Republicans and our allies could reduce everything to vote no. Right? Imagine if a couple of them had been Democrats and a couple had been Republicans. It would have been a lot harder to communicate this kind of retention race, which I refer to as an asterisk, among our elections. It would have been harder to communicate, but because all one party, that made it easy for us messaging maestros, as I call us, vote yes or vote no.
Yeah. And all the attention, of course, statewide this time around was on the retention of the Supreme Court justices, and to a lesser degree than the actual elections for Superior Court and Commonwealth Court, and even lower than that, of course, as you just mentioned, were the retention of Michael Wolchuk for the Commonwealth Court and Alice Beck-DeBow for the Superior Court. Most people probably didn't even realize those were on there. So, yeah, interesting how that.
And it was a very long ballot yesterday.
Yes, it was 2 pages long, where I am on 14 inches of paper.
Yeah, you've got all your local races and school board and county and these retention questions. Next year we go the opposite way. Every 12 years in an even year, we have what I refer to as a short ballot. So next year there's no U.S. Senate race, there's no races for state row office like Auditor General and stuff. So the entire state will vote for governor, Congress, and state house. That's 3, and then half of us will vote for state senate.
Right.
So we're going to go from, maybe 15 or 16 offices yesterday down to either 3 or 4 for folks.
Yeah, it was one of the longest ballots I'd seen in a while. Now, we had a lot of candidates running, of course, for school board where I live, and borough council, and mayor, and judges in Allegheny County for retention. So, yeah, it was a very long ballot, and they made it very clear. Don't forget, when they'd hand you the ballot, they said, there's 2 sides to this. Don't forget.
Next year there won't be 2 sides to the ballot, because it's going to be, like I said, half of us will have 3 races, the other half will have 4.
And it could be on a 3x5 card, for heaven's sakes.
Well, you're right. The counties can finally save some money on paper, Doug. Yeah, you're right.
Of course, nationally, the race, of course, for governor, races for governor, Virginia, New Jersey, went the Democratic way. I don't think many folks are surprised that the Democratic candidate won in New York. There will now be a 34-year-old mayor of New York. I'm not sure if that's a record or not.
Well, look, I mean, if that guy up there, Mr. Mamdani, couldn't beat a red beret and a guy who got chased out of office on sexual harassment charges, so he didn't have a very high bar to clear there. And you're right, Virginia and New Jersey, the states with governor races, both blue states. Virginia typically goes the opposite way of who won the race for president the year before. That's what happened 4 years ago with Glenn Youngkin, the Republican, came in right after Joe Biden got elected. What was, I think, a little crazy in Virginia is their Democratic nominee for Attorney General several years ago had sent out these terrible text messages to people, hoping that a Republican state legislator and his minor children would be harmed and killed, and that came out maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago in the campaign, and the blue wave was enough in Virginia that he was carried to victory. So Virginians woke up this morning to their top law enforcement official having been out there texting and hoping for a legislator and his kids to be killed. So it is a strange new world these days, and just a pro tip to folks, if you're in public office, just watch what you're texting, please. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. And watch what pictures you have taken of yourself in college, and then when you run for office 27 years later, it comes out. I'm glad there weren't cell phones around when I was in college. I'll be blunt about that.
Absolutely, Doug, especially.
Good heavens. And so when you take a look at those results, as you mentioned in your Pennsylvania Political Digest, the Democrats swept. And I don't think there's any other way to describe it. It was a sweep. So
no, I mean, look, there's that old expression, some days you're the windshield, some days you're the bug. So last election day, Democrats were the bug. They lost everything. This year, it was Republicans. Last year, Eugene P. Pasquale was the losing Democratic candidate in a not-so-close race for state attorney general. Now he's the chairman, recently installed, of the PA Democratic Party. So he's out there taking a victory lap now, talking about all the wins they had all across the state. So, I tell people, if you're bored with politics, wait 6 months, everything changes.
Right. The race in New York is interesting. We had I had on as a guest yesterday former U.S. Senator Rick Santorum, and I said, when we were talking about Mamdani in New York, I said, most of the times when a Democrat gets accused of being a socialist, he denies it. I said, Mamdani seems to embrace it. And Rick jumped in and said, I don't think he minds if people call him a communist. So it's going to be an interesting time in New York, to say the least, to have someone of this ilk now mayor of not the biggest city in the world, but probably still the most important city in the world, I would think. It's going to be
think about all the wealth that accumulates in New York City and what the big industries are, right? Fashion, news, culture, and obviously stock market and money. Those people have means to move, right? If they don't like how things are going, the rest of us, if we don't like something, it's harder for us to pick up and move. So the big question there is whether he governs as he campaigned or whether he governs as more of a realist. He seems like a very gifted politician, but at some point the rubber hits the road and you have to actually deal with the mundane, run-of-the-mill crises and problems that aren't that sexy, right? That don't get you on TV. You still have to deal with that. So, he goes from being, a relatively backbencher Democratic member of their assembly, that's what they call their lower house, to now being the mayor. And it's obviously an oversized role given the American culture, both politically and financially.
Yeah, interesting. You brought up that idea of people with great wealth can easily move. It doesn't take a lot of work to move out of the city. And these are statistics that I heard on last night. Tax proposals submitted or proposed by Mondami would include a 2% tax on those earning over $1 million, would further increase the total rate for the highest earners. And in 2022, the millionaires, or 1% of the taxpayers in New York, paid 40% of the personal income tax collected. So let's say some of those decide to move out. Suddenly, that tax, that those taxes coming in, it really is amazing. And the combined city and state marginal tax rate in New York and New York City is almost 15%.
And here in Pennsylvania, it makes us look good by comparison, right? Which is not something many of your listeners would think is true, but it is. So I hope the Shapiro administration starts putting together, packets about, move to Pennsylvania, bring all those people here, with what are, compared to New York, our lower taxes.
Yeah. Does this make this win by Mondami in New York? Does this make him and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the congresswoman, are they now de facto co-chairs of the Democratic National Committee?
Well, I think that's going to be a lot of the messaging from my side, because those folks in New York City are to the left of politics, let alone politics in the rest of the country, right? So as strange as they think politics is here, in your part of the world, the Midwestern part of Pennsylvania, as I call it, the opposite is true as well. You know what I mean? But it's easy in campaigns to say that, but at some point, it kind of falls off the home screen, so to speak, and other emergencies come to bear. So at the end of the day, I think it'll be fun to make fun of what I think will be his foibles up there, because governing is not campaigning. But then we'll be busy with all of our own problems too.
Right. Yeah. And most people would think, I got to get the kids fed, get them off to school, get them to bed, go to work. Sometimes
pick up the dry cleaning.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Forget about what the real people in the world really care about. I'm in a bowling league on Monday nights. I've been in this league since the 70s, and I kind of listen to them. I don't engage and try to get them to talk about stuff, but I'll listen to what they're talking about. Yeah, you don't hear a lot about politics at times. It's just other things going on in their life. The lane conditions aren't great. Their daughter wrecked their car. Yeah, I use that as sports is the number one thing most people, I think.
Absolutely. I refer to as RLI, real life intrudes, right? In a campaign the last couple of weeks, you think, boy, that's the only focus of everyone, which is not true then, and especially not true as we now transition back to kind of regular time. So, Republicans, we have to lick our wounds. Democrats have to celebrate their wins. And then we get right back into it for next year. There were 4 members of our state house who won election to other offices yesterday. So we'll have 4 special elections next year, probably in March, because they won't have to resign until early January. They come 2 R's and 2 D's, all from safe districts. So the balance in the state house will go from 102, 101 Democrat to 100 to 99 Democrat. And then once those special elections are filled, they'll win their 2 seats and we'll win our 2 seats. That's just kind of how the world works. But one of them is in the South Hills there. Dan Miller got himself elected judge out of the State House.
Exactly.
So we're kind of going to go through that. I know how you love special elections, Doug.
Yeah, it's more to talk about, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
And I mentioned a moment ago your Pennsylvania Political Digest. Tell us about that and how folks can get it.
It's the twice-weekly newsletter I write, the well-read newsletter I write on Pennsylvania politics. You can just Google it at PA Political Digest. If you're on the Substack newsletter system, I publish it through there. And on Twitter, I'm at Eagle63 if you're into the daily back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah. And, of course, you also have your TV show, which airs right here in southwestern PA on KDKA Plus, I think.
Yes, you guys know it better as Channel 19. It's the only statewide show on Pennsylvania politics called This Week in Pennsylvania. It airs Sundays across the state, and you're right, Doug, thank you. In your part of the world, noontime on KDKA Plus, Channel 19.
Yeah, something good to watch right before you turn on the Steeler game, hopefully. So.
Or in my case, the Eagles game.
The Eagles game, that's right, exactly. So. All right. Christopher Nicholas joining us on the Afternoon Drive Show. Christopher, thanks so much. We appreciate your analysis on these things.
Thanks, Doug.
It's in talk. You have a good evening, sir. Thanks.
You too, bye.
Christopher Nicholas joining us here. We're going to take a break, come back, and wrap up hour number one. We're almost a third of the way done. We're with you for a long time tonight, folks. Stick around. Coming up at 6:20, or after the news, I should say, the national and local news, we're going to open the talk lines. You want to talk politics, you want to talk anything else, 724-438-4593. That is the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, 724-438-4593. Stick around. We'll be back.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the Better Business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Looking for a fireplace? Koval Building Supply at 40 Monroe Avenue in Uniontown is more than your plumbing supply store. We specialize in fireplaces of all fuel types, such as gas, wood, pellet, and electric. We're now featuring Harmon pellet stoves from Forge and Flame, perfect for keeping your family warm and cozy. Call Koval today at 724-437-8824 or visit kovalsupply.com to start planning for the winter season. Koval Building Supply, everything you need to make your house feel like home.
Any day is a good day to shop at Reese Warehouse, where you will find your favorite brands of furniture, bedding, and appliances at great prices every day. Plus great service, such as delivery and setup in your home, and no-interest financing available for qualified buyers. Shop Monday through Friday, 9 until 6, and Saturday, 9 till 5. Reese Warehouse, the Superstore, Gans Woodbridge Road in Smithfield. And Reese Warehouse thanks you for choosing them as the 2024 Best in Fayette Appliance and Mattress Store.
Live Casino is celebrating its 5-year anniversary by giving away $50,000 in prizes. Get in on the fun November 17th through 23rd. Play with your Live Rewards card for a chance to win your share of $50,000 in prizes. Plus, enjoy $5 specials all week long, like our $5 social margaritas, $5 nachos, $5 pretzels, and more. Celebrate 5 at Live. Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest, now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Wow, your dog looks beautiful.
We went to Mutt's on Market Street, the dog grooming salon in downtown Brownsville. Samantha, the owner, has over 10 years dog grooming experience. They work with any dog, any breed, any size.
Didn't it cost a fortune?
No, the prices are great. They offer a full line of grooming and other services.
The holidays are here, so treat your furry friends to a fresh holiday grooming at Mutt's on Market Street. And don't forget your feline friends, Mutt's on Market Street now offers cat grooming. Get your pets holiday ready at Mutt's on Market Street in downtown Brownsville. Visit them on Facebook for details.
WMBS.
We were talking earlier about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That is Jethro Tull bringing us out of the break. One of those bands that Nick and I think should be in the Hall, and they're not. And Nick and I have been talking for years. You know, sooner or later, we are going to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and do a show.
Absolutely. We'll get in the van. We'll drive up 3 hours to Cleveland. It'll be fun.
We might even go in the same car.
Absolutely.
And only if on the way home we can stop and have dinner at a Cracker Barrel.
Absolutely. And we can get a non-bread option.
Chicken and
dinner.
dumplings.
Well, I won't be eating that, but yeah, you enjoy.
Yeah, and Nick, who now is as thin as a rail, you'll be eating, I don't know what, cottage cheese and Melba toast.
Absolutely. That sounds delicious. Oh, cottage cheese. I'm trying to cut back on dairy.
Yeah, what are you eating?
I'm
kale?
basically down to kale and salmon. Now, the other night I had salmon and green beans and cabbage. Salmon is delicious.
Grill it. It's simple. Nothing fancy. Don't bread it up. Just eat it. A buddy of mine used to go, my friend Chuck, who's retired. I don't like him anymore since he is retired. And we're the same age. He used to go to Alaska every couple of years, and then he would send to us.
He went north to Alaska.
He would send in dry ice salmon that he caught.
Oh, Alaskan salmon. Oh, my God. I bet that was good.
It was frozen when we got it. Had to be, but it was still incredible.
Oh,
considering it was swimming about 3 days earlier.
That's amazing. Fish is really good for you.
Yeah, it is.
If it's grilled.
Yeah, you got to grill fish. And
no offense to Long John Silver's, but you might as well go to McDonald's at that point. Fish is not healthy at a certain point.
Yeah, you can eat fried fish and all the rest.
You can eat anything.
During Lent on Fridays.
That's right.
When the churches are selling them.
And the lines out the parking lot. They love Fridays on Lent, those fish people.
It is, it is amazing. What can come through there. Again, I'm Doug Sultan. That's Nick Barczyk. It's the Afternoon Drive Show. News is coming up on your local station, WMBS Uniontown.
We'll be back.
We're going to talk with Commissioner Scott Dunn. There was a glitch yesterday related to the list that the state sent the county. I guess it was the 2024 list. And I understand even they checked it and it said 2025. So unless you start going through 79,000 registered voters in the county, unless you go through those, you'd have no idea. So we're going to get the full details from Commissioner Dunn. That'll be coming up after the national and local news. And 6:35, we're going to really change topics. We're going to talk television with our good friend Rob Owen from the Tribune Review. And then in the third hour of the show, we're going to talk Major League Baseball playoffs and World Series with Lanny Fratteri. All that coming up on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. Stick around.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington, where Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy just made a big announcement this afternoon regarding air travel.
There is going to be a 10% reduction in capacity at 40 of our locations. The administrator is going to tell you that this is data-based. This is not based on what airline travels, has more flights out of what location. This is about where is the pressure and how do we alleviate the pressure?
Those cutbacks begin Friday. Duffy cited staffing shortages due to the ongoing government shutdown for the reductions. Air traffic controllers are considered essential but are not getting paid. Many have been calling out sick. A lot are reporting they're taking on side jobs to make ends meet. New information about a deadly accident involving a UPS cargo plane yesterday in Louisville, Kentucky. NTSB's Todd Inman says an engine fell off just before takeoff.
We do believe that is the engine from the left side of the plane. It is actually on the airfield, so it's not off the airport property. That correlates with the video that we've seen of it detaching from the airplane while it is in flight. We also know that a fire was occurring during that time.
11 people were killed. They were able to recover the plane's black boxes, which will be instrumental for trying to figure out why this happened. Did President Trump exceed his authority when he used an emergency law to impose tariffs on dozens of countries? Supreme Court justices like Sonia Sotomayor appeared skeptical today, hearing arguments challenging what he did.
It's a congressional power, not a presidential power to tax. And you want to say tariffs are not taxes, but that's exactly what they are. They're generating money from American citizens, revenue.
Allison Keyes reports on a deadly hornet attack.
That's the sound of a single giant Asian hornet. But doctors say teacher Daniel Owen and his son Cooper died after being stung by hundreds of them while ziplining. The two and their guide were swarmed, and doctors say they were covered with red spots by painful stings. Asian giant hornets are the world's largest, and experts say there is a public health risk.
Maybe grab a cookie tonight instead of that ice cream for dessert. CBS's Jim Crisula reports on a new recall.
Häagen-Dazs dark chocolate mini bars have been recalled because they could contain undeclared wheat. The recalled bars were sold in 6-count packages at Kroger and Giant Eagle food stores in 31 states. There have been no injuries or illnesses reported because of the undisclosed wheat, according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Markets close in the green on Wall Street today. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's a day that ends in Y, so it's a day that you might decide you don't want to cook. That means it's the perfect day to order Fat Angelo's. Offering delicious pizzas, salads, hoagies, strombolis and calzones, wings, and more. And with 12 locations across the area ready to serve you, today is the day to visit FatAngelosPizza.com, where you can quickly and conveniently find your local shop and place your order online. Or get the local phone number and give them a call. Order up!
Wow, your dog looks beautiful.
We went to Mutts on Market Street, the dog grooming salon in downtown Brownsville. Samantha, the owner, has over 10 years dog grooming experience. They work with any dog, any breed, any size.
Didn't it cost a fortune?
No, the prices are great. They offer a full line of grooming and other services.
The holidays are here, so treat your furry friends to a fresh holiday grooming at Mutts on Market Street. And don't forget your feline friends. Mutts on Market Street now offers cat grooming. Get your pets holiday ready at Mutts on Market Street in downtown Brownsville. Visit them on Facebook for details.
Board game is making a milestone.
Fans have been circling the board with top hats and battleships for a long time.
I buy real estate, hotels, fancy cars, even railroads.
Monopoly made its debut 90 years ago today. It grew from early days as a socialist critique of capitalism called The Landlord's Game to 1935's all-out celebration of money from Parker Brothers.
We want to be just like you, rich.
During the Great Depression, Monopoly offered an escapist fantasy of financial success. In 1959, Fidel Castro ordered all games in Cuba destroyed. Monopoly is now the best-selling licensed modern board game of all time. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Starbucks just revealed its iconic holiday cups. You can get your peppermint mocha or iced gingerbread chai in those festive plaid or garland decked out cups beginning tomorrow. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The local district and statewide news is being brought to you by Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, striving harder to get you farther. For more information, call 724-628-RIDE. And now to the news.
Good evening on a Wednesday. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis Studios. Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, helping local people with their legal matters since 1976. Your local station, WMBS 605. Some rain, 64 degrees outside of our studios in downtown Uniontown. The weather watch and sports on the way. Just to wrap up and put a bow on the election results from last night, the full list on our WMBS Facebook, but the contested races in Fayette County for Recorder of Deeds, Republican John Marietta defeated Democrat James Santilli, 15,501 votes to 14,303. For Treasurer in Fayette, Republican Melissa Tizan beating Democratic challenger Matt Lancaster by a total of 16,657 to 13,065 votes. And for Uniontown City Council, 2 seats available. The Democrats beat the Republicans. Vincent Winfrey with 1,102 votes gets a seat on council along with John Schoner with 800 votes. Gary Altman and Jared Billy, the Republicans, missing out on the council seats. and the rest of the results around the county in the city of Uniontown up on our WMBS Facebook. Statewide, the yes votes won to retain Supreme Court Justices David Wecht, Kevin Dougherty, and Christine Donahue. All three will be retained. Pennsylvania Superior Court Judge, the Democrat Brandon Newman, beats the Republican Maria Batista 55% to 43% of the vote, with the Libertarian candidate getting 2%. And on the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court, Stella Tesai, the Democrat, beats the Republican Matt Wolford 56 to 44% of the vote. Again, the full election results from around the region, state, and country from last night up on our WMBS Facebook. We have some national races up as well. Pennsylvania Attorney General Dave Sunday has teamed up with a bipartisan group of colleagues in other states asking Congress to clarify the definition of hemp in hopes of preventing products that are extremely potent with THC from getting into the wrong hands. Sunday, along with nearly 40 other attorneys general from around the country, sent a letter this week to congressional committee leaders urging them to tighten the definition of hemp and prevent the sale of the products that contain synthetic cannabinoids like Delta-8. Sunday said many times these products are more potent than marijuana itself, though they have flooded the market because of a gap in the language of the 2018 Farm Bill. A Charleroi area food processing plant scheduled to be shuttered this year will remain open a little longer, according to the court-appointed receiver operating the business. Ford Street Barbecue Incorporated, which operates numerous plants in Spears and Fallowville Township in Washington County, may still be permanently closing the facilities and letting go all 250-plus workers. But sometime between now and November 30th, that's when Mark Welch, the co-receiver in charge, stated in an updated worker adjustment and retraining notification filed with the state of Pennsylvania. The notice says the company is winding down its operations, which involves co-manufacturing frozen food for branded and private label retailers around America. Welch said this week that he is seeking a buyer for the plant. The initial notice filed with the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry had set the last day of last month as the closing date. State lawmakers addressed this week why Pennsylvania residents are still paying the Johnstown flood tax on alcohol that was meant to be temporary to help support relief from the Johnstown flood of 1936. The flood was devastating, killing 25 people and leaving behind $40 million of plus in damage. The 10% tax was placed on wine and spirits right at the end of Prohibition. Within 6 years, the money to rebuild Johnstown had been raised, but the tax remained. The nearly 20% tax still stands today and generates an excess of around $500 million a year in revenue to Pennsylvania, which is most likely one of the biggest reasons why it is still in effect, analysts and lawmakers say. A Pennsylvania man has been taken into custody after trying to enter the U.S. Capitol yesterday. Officers arrested 43-year-old Richard Griffin before he could go through the security gates at the Delaware Avenue entrance of the Russell Senate Office Building in Washington, D.C. Investigators say Griffin was wanted for emailing threats to members of Congress and other government agencies. He was reportedly charged with making threats to do bodily harm. And a new study shows that increasing the number of steps you take each day may help slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease for those at an increased risk.
Researchers at Mass General Brigham found that cognitive decline was delayed by an average of 3 years for people who walked just 3,000 to 5,000 steps a day. In older adults who walked 5,000 to 7,000 steps a day, the onset of Alzheimer's was delayed by 7 years. The study is published in Nature Medicine. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Sports and weather next on WMPS.
Take the fact.
Need to get to work? Run errands? See a doctor? Fact connects Fayette County. Ride our convenient routes through Uniontown, Connellsville, Brownsville, even to Pittsburgh. Seniors 65 and older ride free on fixed routes. People with disabilities get big savings, and Medicaid recipients can ride to medical appointments at no cost through our shared ride and paratransit services. Find out if you qualify today. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. Fact, your ride, your independence.
In sports, we bring you the Penguins tomorrow night, taking on the Capitals at PPG Paints Arena. Face off at 7:30, on the air at 6:30 on WMBS. Steelers will release their injury report tomorrow afternoon ahead of their game against the Chargers in Los Angeles Sunday night at 8 o'clock on WMBS. And on the way Friday night, we'll bring you high school football. It will be another C.R. Barado Group High School Sports Night. Sprouse Insurance Group pregame at 6. Game at 7 on the radio and video. Frazier taking on Bishop Canavan at Cannon Mac. A 1A quarterfinal round high school football playoff matchup. Brian and Tony bring you all the action. Doug Saltzman with sideline reporting as well on WMBS. And now the WMBS Weather Watch for all of Southwest Pennsylvania. And by the way, we'll be talking to Lanny Viteri about the World Series later on in the show as well. And right now it's 64 degrees, going up to 67 today, overnight low at 37. Went up to 67 today with the overnight low at 37. 54 Thursday, rain likely Friday, 67. Chance of showers Saturday, high topping out at 59. Chance of rain, maybe some light snow flurry Sunday at 55. Low down to 29, only up to 35 Monday afternoon, low at 27. 39 Tuesday, cloudy and 64 degrees at 6:11 on a Wednesday. Good evening from the Davis & Davis studios at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. More of the Afternoon Drive Show with Doug Saltzman next on WMBS.
The local, district, and statewide news has been a service of FACT, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, striving harder to get you farther. Phone 724-628-RIDE for routes, rates, and schedules. 724-628-RIDE for FACT.
Point Hill Living Care Home is an all-new personal care home conveniently located in Point Marion and is now accepting new residents. Point Hill Living is committed to providing comfort and support while allowing residents to maintain their independence and enhance their quality of life. With a dedicated staff and experienced advanced care team, Point Hill Living offers fully customized care plans for all residents, while also ensuring a sense of community and engagement, making Point Hill feel like home. Multiple care levels are available, from basic plans to fully customized and enhanced plans, including options for medical monitoring and full-time dedicated assistance. If you are looking for a high-quality care home close to home, look no further than Point Hill Living Care Home at 300 Union Street in Point Marion. Call them today at 724-725-5533 to learn more, or visit them at pointhillliving.com. Point Hill Living Care Home, where our residents are family.
Have you been told there is nothing that can be done for your neuropathy? Tri-State Neuropathy Centers is pleased to tell you that's not true. As one of the largest and most successful neuropathy treatment practices in the country, Tri-State Neuropathy Centers has grown to 9 regional centers and helped over 14,000 patients, like John from Morgantown. John had such extreme numbness and pain that he was having difficulty feeling his car pedals. Then John discovered Tri-State Neuropathy Centers and their effective FDA-approved treatment program that has no drugs, is non-invasive, and painless. John's great results have given his freedom back, and he's doing the things he wants, like simply driving or cutting the grass. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers help John, along with thousands of others. Let them help you next. Call 304-777-2068. That's 304-777-2068. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy.
Yeah, they're the people I trust. It's the place I go. Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Home Warehouse thanks you for once again voting them the best in Fayette for home improvements and windows, and they know how to make your house a happy home. Save on energy costs, keep out drafts, and update your home with beautiful new windows, doors, and storm doors from Home Warehouse, your one-stop shop for your exterior building needs. Roofing, shingles, metal, and commercial rubber roofing, shutters, siding, soffit and fascia, railing, as well as flooring, home and gun safes, wood pellets, and dog food too. So for selection, great prices, and hometown service, see Sandy and Donnie at Home Warehouse, Connellsville Street in Uniontown, wishing you a happy holiday season. Shop Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, Saturday, 8 to noon, closed Sunday and holidays.
Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Are you considering a project design and don't know where to start? K2 Engineering offers a wide range of professional civil, architectural, and municipal services to meet your individual project needs. Our versatility combined with our personalized approach is what sets us apart as a full-service engineering and consultation firm. To learn more about our services, please visit us on the web at www.k2engineering.net. K2 Engineering, where customer service is our priority.
Pizza Kings in Connellsville is your go-to lunch and dinner spot with a full menu of mouth-watering pizzas and so much more. Using a deck oven helps our pizzas stay extra crisp, so if you haven't tried a slice lately, what are you waiting for? From our 50-slice King Carnivore to veggie pizzas and even pickle pizzas, Pizza King has the pie to match your taste. Pizza King's, 1046 Morrell Avenue in Connellsville. Call 724-626-8343 or visit pizzakingswithaz.com.
Community members like you have raised over $2.5 million through Fayette Gives. The Community Foundation of Fayette County is hosting this year's Fayette Gives on November 6th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. at FayetteGives.org. Join the community in fundraising for 110 Fayette County charities and help them win cash prizes throughout the day. Your donation will build a stronger Fayette County by supporting local charities that make a difference. Visit FayetteGives.org on November 6th to learn more and donate during this day of giving.
And we were talking earlier with Christopher Nicholas, political analyst, on the right side, on the Republican side. But when you listen to analysis, it's not overly slanted. I mean, he kept saying we got swept, the Democrats. He said my side lost, their side won.
Yeah, well, facts are facts. Yeah. And elections do count, even if you lose. Both sides need to learn that.
So it's a interesting time in Pennsylvania. There's still no budget. It makes the federal budget issue look much different. But of course, the state workers are getting paid.
Yes, but that's another thing. Can you remember the last time there was no federal or Pennsylvania budget at the same time for this long?
No, I don't think. I asked somebody who would know these things, and he doesn't recall it ever happened.
That seems right up your alley, being the political historian you are.
Well, now that I could have said no, it's never happened, but I wanted to give credit to the person who told me.
And by political historian, I mean Google searches and Wikipedia searches. Yeah,
that's right.
Who reads books anymore?
Because as we all know, there's never mistakes in Wikipedia.
No, absolutely not. It is very accurate, just like the Encyclopedia Britannica. I'm sure you had that growing up.
Yeah, we had encyclopedias at home.
The World Book.
The World Book. We had the World Book. I don't think we ever had Encyclopedia Britannica because that was massive.
Enormous.
That was a fortune.
Oh my gosh.
But we did have the World Book.
But if you ever wanted to know the capital of Cambodia, it was in there.
That's how you had to find it.
Yeah.
There was a time when the Carnegie Library in Pittsburgh, you could call there to get information. They'd go look it up.
That's amazing.
It was like the internet of the time.
Yeah, hi, Marianne. Good morning. Can you tell me the president of Puerto Rico?
Yeah,
it's the president of America.
Yeah, what's the population and area code of Texarkana?
Yeah, just call her at 3 a.m. How many people live in Omaha?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm bored.
Coming up here in just a couple of moments, we're going to check in with Fayette County Commissioner Scott Dunn. He's chairman of the commission. And we talked to yesterday. There was a glitch on the records that the county received related to voter registration, who was registered to vote, where they could vote, what their addresses are. And it was the list that came from the state. And it raised a lot of questions, of course. At my understanding, it was not an issue related to the county. So we want to get the details. Who better to talk to than the chairman of the commissioners coming up here? So Scott Dunn's going to join us here in a moment. Joining us, actually, immediately on the WMBS WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, the chairman of the Fayette County Commissioners, Commissioner Scott Dunn. Commissioner, thanks for joining us today, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
There's always
good to hear from you.
Yeah, there's always glitches on election night, election day, I should say. You go around the country, it's happening everywhere, where their voting machines aren't working back in the day or scanners aren't working. That happens. Machinery is not 100% foolproof, especially those that don't get used every day of the week, for heaven's sakes. But yesterday, Fayette County, the news came that the county received the wrong voter list from the State Department of Elections, correct?
That is correct. I can confirm I was on the phone with the Department of State early yesterday morning. And actually, what started this was it happened to me. I went to vote, and it said that I had turned in my mail-in ballot, so obviously it wasn't going to let me vote twice. I had to vote via provisional ballot. At that point, all kind of things go through your head. You start thinking about, did somebody steal my vote? Did Fayette County get hacked? There's just all kind of things going through your head at that point. And I called the Election Bureau, and they said, hey, that we're having some of these issues being called in. So I voted via provisional ballot, which was a standard protocol. And I got to the election bureau, and we tried to get the State Department on. And at first they were saying, "Hey, we don't see any issues. We don't have any issues in the other counties. Seems to be just Fayette County." But then within probably another half hour, they called back and said, "Hey, we sent you the wrong file. We sent you the file for the 2024 election, not the 2025 election."
Yeah, and
so
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, the question came up then. Did someone look at the name of the list that was sent? So it's a computer file. This is not a thing being handed to somebody. But when it was looked at online, did it say which year did it say it was?
It said 2025. The title of the file was Municipal Election 2025.
Yeah. So that means how of course you see that, you're going to believe it's true, and the only way to check it is if you start going through, and how many registered voters are there in the county? You'd have to start going through them.
Right. There's 79,000 voters, and so the difference between the 2 years obviously is if you moved, we don't have the record of you being moved. If your voter status, if you voted by mail versus voting in person, which happened to me, and if you were a new voter, if you registered in the last year to vote, you weren't on the list that was uploaded into the electronic poll pads. And that's just three of the things. I mean, so it was very confusing. For at least an hour and a half to try to figure out exactly what was going on. And yeah, it was, and there's no way that, they give you this data just, a few days before the election. So there's no way that you can go through 79,000 files, most of which are still correct, by the way, because if you hadn't moved, or if you hadn't, we weren't a new registered voter, if you voted in the same manner, 99% of the people on this list were going to be exactly the same.
It's probably 99.9% or 99.99%. Yeah, it's interesting. Right. I live in Bethel Park, Allegheny County, and the first time a few years back when I decided to vote by paper ballot, and then, I'm sorry, mail-in ballot, I requested it. I got an empty envelope in the mail. Next time, I got a ballot in the mail that had my brother's name on it. So, right. Mistakes can happen when you're talking about running an entire election in 1 day's time.
But this is a pretty big mistake. I mean, you have potentially really faulty information being in the hands of our election workers, and I have to give kudos to all the people who work at the polls for Fayette County. So it was a stressful morning. We got through it. Then they had to use the paper poll books, which are our backup, and so that takes longer. Somebody was saying, when you have 1,400 names in some of these precincts, it takes you a while to thumb to the right page every time. So kudos to our poll workers. We appreciate all the extra effort that they had to put into this as well.
Yeah, there's always a backup to the backup on these things, and even back to the days when you had the old election machines that the curtain closed behind you. There was always backups for that. If a judge of elections didn't show up, or if somebody else didn't show up, somebody got sick that morning, couldn't work the polls, being one of the workers themselves, not somebody electioneering, they just step in and fill the other role. And it's been done for ever and a day. As we talk with Commissioner Scott Dunn. And of course, I remember voting in the presidential race, and the scanner went down. So literally, I stood in line for an hour and 15 minutes waiting to vote because it took so long. They had to do it literally by hand as we were going through. I was distraught over the whole thing because I missed the first 45 minutes of my daughter's volleyball banquet. It really broke my heart to miss out on that. Aside from that, though, but these things happen. You're going to have a scanner.
And we have backups. We have backup protocol for almost basically every situation. So yesterday in Salt Lick, there was a power outage. There's a backup protocol for that. Scanners break. The equipment that we have, again, like you said, it's used once a year. We get it out. We test it. Everything's tested before it gets to the polling place. And we have staff at the Election Bureau that all they do all day is run to the polling precincts. And so maybe they're out of paper, maybe they're out of ballots, or maybe they're out of provisional ballots. Whatever that is, maybe there's a scanner down. Somebody texted me yesterday and they said, the sky's falling, there's a scanner down. I said, if they call, they get a new scanner like immediately. Like as soon as we're out the door on the road. Now, obviously, if it's Uniontown 4, that's going to be quicker than if it's Henry Clay. But we have a protocol. We have a backup protocol for when that happens, and it happens every election. Every election, we have something. Some sort of failure in the equipment,
and then county after county after county. It's not just a Fayette County thing. I use some just beyond your control. I used it was an election ago, couple elections ago. At of all things, a garbage truck caught fire on the Liberty Bridge leading from downtown Pittsburgh to the South Hills. Traffic was backed forever. They could not get election equipment on election day or new ballots to the South Hills quickly because the traffic nightmare. So there's some things that you just can't control.
And we're lucky we don't have to deal with that. But
but this is what can happen. There's road construction or there's an accident on that road that suddenly you have somebody who works for the elections department stuck in traffic trying to get to a place to replace ballots. These things, you can't control everything. And when you think about how much an entire company is run in one day's time, basically, that's how somebody once described it to me. It all comes down to just that, and then of course you get the problems resolved and you learn from it. I would hope somebody in Harrisburg caught heck and realized we can't let this happen again.
Yeah, I'm not sure that happened. So there was a statement by the Secretary of State saying that everything basically went fine. There were a few minor errors. I call. You can go back and look at my Facebook page. I believe that your right to vote is your most basic right as an American citizen. I know it's not enumerated in the Constitution that way, but that's what separates us from the other countries. Is we have the right to go into a room and cast a ballot for who's going to be our leaders. And I take that very seriously. And so for somebody to say, we had a problem, and we know that there were a handful that didn't vote because of this. And that really bothers me. And it bothers me that the Secretary of State basically said that didn't even acknowledge the error in Fayette County.
Sending the wrong voter list, I would not describe as a minor problem. That is a major problem. And and it's not as if the state election department then came in and said, okay, we'll fix it for you. No, Fayette County had to fix a problem that they didn't cause.
We had to fix it. And I'm very proud. Again, I go back to our staff and our poll workers. It was, by the time, we figured out, what the problem was and what the backup was going to be at about 9 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, all 77 precincts were on paper, the paper poll books. All of them had the backup plans in place. And from 10 o'clock to then 8 o'clock at night, we had no issues with that anymore. So yeah, it took us a while. It quite frankly, it took the state at least a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, just to figure out what the problem was and admit to it. And so as fast as we could humanly fix the problem, we did.
Yeah, and on election day, voting issues, 1 minute is like 30 minutes, trying to get these things resolved. And I've been part of campaigns around the country back in my day of being when I was with a political consulting firm. I don't think we ever had an election or a client that we didn't encounter some issue on voting day that we had to get resolved. Right. And I guess, and the bottom line is anybody who wanted to vote yesterday, might have been a little delay, but if they wanted to vote, they got to vote in Fayette County. Is that correct?
Yeah, and listen, I feel bad for the people who didn't go back and didn't get to exercise that right. And you never know what that reason was. Maybe it was the travel distance. Maybe it was they were at work, and you don't know. So for somebody to show up, again, take their time out of their day to exercise their most basic right as an American, and it didn't go. And they didn't get to do it. They did everything they were supposed to do.
Right.
They showed up to vote, and they were let down. And we take the voting very seriously, and to have it be considered a minor error, I think is a disgrace.
Yeah. I guess, I have a different definition of minor error than perhaps the Secretary of the State. We're talking about the Secretary of State at the state level in Pennsylvania. I guess we have different definitions of minor error. I would not consider that a minor error. That's for sure. Well, congrats to you and the whole gang at the Elections Department for addressing it, getting it taken care of as quickly as you possibly could.
Thank you.
All righty. Commissioner Scott Dunn joining us on the Afternoon Drive Show. Thanks so much, Commissioner.
I appreciate it, guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you. We're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to check in with Rob Owen. We're going to change topics here. We're not going to talk politics for the rest of the show. I think we've had enough politics. Yes. Rob Owen is the Tribune Review and TribLive.com TV writer and critic. We're going to talk to him about some big changes in the world of TV news in our region. We'll talk to him about that. And then, I mentioned earlier we were going to open the lines up for open talk, but that we had a change in the time that Commissioner Dunn was joining us. So we'll talk after the 7 o'clock news. We'll open the phone lines then. And then at 7:35, we're going to talk to our good friend Lanny Fratteri. Lanny hates when people say the word unbelievable when it comes to sports. The World Series at times was unbelievable.
Ohtani with 3 home runs hit and 10 batters struck out on the mound. Yamamoto's back-to-back complete games, and maybe the best Game 6 and Game 7 back-to-back ever. Come on, Lanny, give us an unbelievable, buddy.
Yeah, we'll check. We'll ask him. If he hangs up the moment we ask him that, we'll know he still is against it. But first, this is the Afternoon Drive Show on WMBS.
Live Casino is celebrating its 5-year anniversary by giving away $50,000 in prizes. Get in on the fun November 17th through 23rd. Play with your Live Rewards card for a chance to win your share of $50,000 in prizes. Plus, enjoy $5 specials all week long, like our $5 social margaritas, $5 nachos, $5 pretzels, and more. Celebrate 5 at Live. Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Looking for a new spot for a night out? Then check out Shindig's Bar and Grill in Uniontown, located in Oliver Square. With regular live entertainment and themed events, and offering 6 diamond pool tables and 3 dartboards, Shindig's is the place to be. Enjoy daily specials, including Tuesday wing night, Friday's Cajun chicken Alfredo, and Saturday's incredible crab leg dinner. And stick around for karaoke nights, live music, and so much more. Follow them on Facebook at Shindig's with a Z Bar and Grill. Shindig's, your hootenanny hotspot.
The winners are in for the 2025 Best in Fayette contest presented by Nemacolin. You can pick up your free 2025-26 Best in Fayette book at the WMBS Broadcast House, the Uniontown Super 8, Casey Sports Cafe, the Uniontown Shop and Save, Perry Drug, Jackson Farms Dairy Store, Armstrong in Connellsville, the Casino at Nemacolin, Bittersweet Cafe, Eubauer's Market House, Uniontown Liquidation Outlet, and the River's Edge. See all the winners at bestinfayette.com.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Now is the perfect time to upgrade your outdoor area with a new fence from All Around Fence Company. Conveniently located at 7896 National Pike, Uniontown. All Around Fence has been installing quality residential, commercial, and farm fencing for more than 45 years. Offering residential fencing including chain link, decorative aluminum, steel, and more, All Around Fence has the fence for you. All Around Fence is also your one-stop shop for Nutrena products and also carries livestock, equine, and pet supplies. So if you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are considering the installation of an all-new fence, All Around Fence has the answers you need. Visit them Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1, or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
Your heat on the fritz? Did your AC stop working? Your pipes backed up? Did your lights go out? Well, for all your heating, air conditioning, electric, and plumbing emergencies, CHIPS Residential Services is here for you. Located right in Uniontown and offering 24-hour emergency service, let the experts at CHIPS help you through all your emergency needs as well as installation and regular service. Call 724-366-8046 to get the help you need today. Your hometown team of technicians, CHIPS Residential Services.
Join the Case Foundation on November 28th at the Uniontown Country Club for a night of glamour as they celebrate a night at the Oscars with all proceeds benefiting area youth sports. Tickets for the formal adult prom are $70 for single tickets or $125 for couples. The gala will feature a live DJ, 50-50 raffle, red carpet with a professional photographer, and more. Get your tickets today by calling 724-434-9061. Don't miss this fun night and opportunity to support local youth sports.
That's a garage band most people have heard of called the Rolling Stones. We actually had a garage band across the street from us. They were always practicing in the garage. Now, it was louder in my house across the street because it was like a megaphone shooting across the street into our house.
Oh, I see.
When the kids band across the street. I think they thought they made the big time when their tickets went for sale on Ticketmaster.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
When they you had to get your tickets through that. And
they weren't playing the Igloo, though, or the whatever the arena was.
No, they weren't
back
playing
then.
the Igloo, but it wasn't
kidding.
a bad band.
Oh, that's good.
But it's funny. I was in their living
You
room.
ever in a
one
band?
What?
You ever in a band?
I played some guitar in college.
Oh.
I wasn't very good.
No, I wasn't either.
I got called up. This is now a few months ago. A buddy of mine is in a band, and I strum guitar, but I can't. And he said, Doug, I got an issue. I got this gig tonight. I'm like, well, what's the problem? He said, it's supposed to be a 6-member band. One of my guitarists' wife went into labor. He can't be there. Can you just come and stand there and strum guitar? We won't even have you connected. So I sit there the whole time just strumming along on the guitar. That wasn't making any noise.
That's pretty much what Keith Richards does anymore, I think,
you're right.
at the concerts.
I think
the last 2 times I've seen him, he's not playing much.
I think you're right. That's for sure. Joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line, our good friend from the, that sounds hokey, doesn't it? He's a friend. But from the Tribune Review and TribLive.com. Bad friend. Of course, TV writer and critic Rob Owen. Rob, how are you today?
I'm good. Apologies that my voice is a little wrecked by a cold.
Well, that's okay. You can have a bad voice when you write for newspaper, I suppose.
That's true.
Nick and I got into radio because we have faces for radio. Now we're on Facebook Live.
To comb your hair,
you have to comb our hair. I have to take a bath every day.
Wear a
it's
shirt.
It's a pain in the neck, that's
awful.
for sure. Well, we wanted to check in with you, and you're joining us on relatively short notice. I was going through your Q&A, which you do regularly with your readers, and there's been a lot of change in television news here in southwestern Pennsylvania, and it seems to be slanted one way. They seem to be firing a lot of women and not as many men. I guess I hadn't noticed that till you pointed it out.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that's going on. CBS, was had this merger with Skydance, and so they've been getting rid of a lot of people, as is often what happens when two large companies merge. And it's just odd that all the on-air talent, anyway, that has been fired from KDKA or laid off — they weren't fired for cause, they were laid off for financial reasons — have all been women. And then when you look at the national level, all of the on-air correspondents at CBS who were laid off were women. So it is just an odd thing. Now, part of me wondered, well, maybe there were more women to begin with, but when you did a count, at least of KDKA's on-air talent, it was fairly evenly divided. I think there was maybe one more woman than a man in their on-air talent roster prior to the October layoffs. So, yeah, I don't know if this is premeditated. I don't know if it's targeted. I don't know what's behind it. I just find it weird.
Yeah. Someone's sitting around a boardroom saying, "Oh, no one's going to notice if we fire more women than men." And who's going to notice that? Obviously, the topic has come up. I know Kim Gable, for instance, from Channel 2, and she'd been there a long time. I thought an excellent journalist. I guess she ended up winning a local Emmy, but she decided to stay home instead of go. I guess, yeah, you were let go. You're going to go. I think I read somewhere online that she said she was home in sweatpants watching.
Yes, that is what she posted. Yes,
and not. I can understand that. I would not want to go get an award as a result of my work from a place where I was just let go. That would be a strange one. But yeah, a lot of changes. I think Pittsburgh, for the first time ever in the last few years, have now TV reporters who are literally right out of college, and that was never the case. They always started somewhere else. But
correct, you're 100% right. That once upon a time, Pittsburgh was a destination market, and now it's very much a stepping stone market for a lot of reporters. Not to say every one of them, but certainly for many of them, it has become that. And although I wouldn't say the majority of people who are new on air that this is their first job out of college, there have been a few where it has been their first job out of college. So, yeah, that is definitely a change from what we have seen, certainly historically, when it comes to hiring among TV stations in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and the cause for that is just that the market size that Pittsburgh has now is so much smaller than it once was. Our region, the city of Pittsburgh loses population. The region doesn't, but we're not growing as other areas are around the country. Correct? Is that the reasoning behind it?
Well,
or the explanation, not the reason.
I don't know exactly what the explanation is. I mean, I think maybe that is some of it. But, Pittsburgh is still a top 30 market. It's 27 currently. That may change come January 1st because Nielsen does a new count every fall. I haven't gotten the new placement yet. But, it's been in this 10, within the 20s for the past decade at least. And I feel like we've gotten more younger people on TV, even though we remain in the 20s. Now, is that a function of our rank, or is it more that not as many people are going into broadcast journalism, and so that the pickings are slimmer, and that's why we end up with younger, just out of college folks? I don't know. I do not know the answer to that, but certainly your observation is accurate.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was watching the news with my daughter. I don't do that very often. And she said, "Boy, that reporter looks young." And my daughter's 25. So I think that's an indication
right?
Of what is. And of course, the news stations are so much smaller than they once were. The amount of, my gosh, there's reporters going out doing their own camera work, which I always find sort of fascinating. I've experienced that over the years, being at news conferences, say maybe out in the Johnstown area or some other areas like that, where it was common many, many years ago that a reporter would take their own camera out. When I worked for Arlen Specter, a reporter came and his tripod broke. It would not hold the camera. And I actually held the camera on my shoulder while he was interviewing my boss. I don't know if that's a violation of some journalistic code.
Funny.
But I finally said, I whispered in the senator's ear, "I can hold the camera." He said, And the reporter said, "Sure, that'd be great. Don't tell anybody." So, yeah. Not that I could have done anything different on the report. I just simply held the camera still as he was interviewing him. But that's happening in Pittsburgh now, that reporters are going out doing their own camera work.
There are more. They now call them MMJs, multimedia journalists, and it is someone who is going out as a one-person band, and they are both the reporter and the videographer. Now, I know at least one station has said that they will not send people to breaking news on their own, that if there's a situation where it could be dangerous, that they would always make sure they send two people. But if it's for something that's more featurey, then, given the technology and the ability for a reporter to also act as their own videographer, they are doing that in a way that, again, 10 years ago was not happening in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I always enjoy reading your Q&A that is in the paper and online for the Tribune Review, the questions that people ask about. And it always seems to those questions that you can't really find out online. And I used the example the one time, you had no problem admitting that you had never heard of a TV show somebody had written to you about. And of course, that's not not shocking, considering there are hundreds of TV shows out there right now that seem to come and go at any given moment. So where are we now in terms of broadcast TV, the big networks, the big four? Are they still holding their own in terms of primetime viewership?
Well, the thing that's interesting is that, a couple years ago, we sort of thought, broadcast TV is going to die, and, it's going to be cable that wins the day. But in the streaming era, what we've actually found is that that media companies are using broadcast to help feed their streaming services, and they are not using cable. So actually, we're seeing less and less original scripted programming or original programming, period, on cable. And about the same amount, maybe a little less on broadcast, because they're doing more sports now. NBC's got the NBA on Tuesday nights, which eats up a whole night of prime time. So, I think that is a significant change, that it seems like broadcast is going to have more longevity than cable networks will, at least when it comes to creating original programming. Because they found a way to monetize that through the streaming services where the shows end up. So, our ratings down, yes, but our broadcast networks going away, not right now.
Yeah, I've always appreciated the fact that you have to watch all these shows, so I don't have to. And
right.
I think, and the competition shows, as I call them, whether it's you're throwing somebody off a building connected to a cable, or you're singing or dancing or whatever you're doing. I've never been into the competition shows. It just doesn't do anything for me. What do you think is the draw for so many people to watch these shows? And I swear there's a new one, every season. There's some other competition show out there. It's strange as Dancing with the Stars or Big Brother. I don't know what it is. What do you think is the draw?
Well, I think a little bit of it is just sort of like vicarious, seeing how these people do it and sort of comparing how you think you might compete on Survivor. But I think we've also seen that, these things come and go in waves. And one weird wave right now is Dancing with the Stars, which has been declining for years, is suddenly up in ratings on linear TV. And it almost seems like a whole new generation has suddenly started watching it, possibly because they started putting influencers and TikTok people on it. But the ratings for that one have actually increased this season, which that's rare for broadcast TV. More likely, shows just come on, new competition shows come on and flop, which is kind of what The Road is doing. That's a new country music competition on CBS that's not doing very well.
Yeah, I remember many years ago when one of our daughters, who are now in their 20s, were born. I'm being the dad in the hospital room, not during the delivery. I'm not one of those weirdos that videotape the delivery, but I'm just, and I say, here, Jill and I and our new baby, and here we are watching a show called Survivor. Probably years from now, nobody will even know what this was. And it was one of the first seasons. But it's been around forever. That's one of the ones. And it seems to be the ones winning the Emmys regularly is Survivor. what is that? Just because of the conniving in it, and people come up? I guess they form alliances. It's always sort of fascinating. The show that people love watching. I don't know, but people do. They love these competitions.
Yeah, I think that with Survivor in particular, it is a format that works really well for television, and it's new every time. You know, you have new characters, quote unquote, even though they're real people, who come in every season, and so it's generally going to be a little bit different. And then they also change up some of what they do on the show. You know, I remember way back in the day, there used to always be a food challenge where they were trying to earn real food, and I think they did that once in the past couple of years, but they don't do that every time now. So they've evolved these shows. They are not 100% stagnant. They do change somewhat over time, particularly the ones that have been around the longest.
One more question for Rob Owen. One of the questions that came into you, and you answered it, and it said, don't you find it annoying or / insulting that TV news people can come up to a person in the person's worst moments and shove a microphone in their face and ask for their comment? And I like your reply to that. I guess the person, you know, answering those questions can simply say, I don't want to talk to you, and walk away. But that is something that TV does. I mean, if it's a politician who's in trouble, they're going to chase after them. But I think in most cases, if someone had just had their house burned down, they agreed to do the interview, I suppose, correct?
Yeah, I mean, usually they do, because if they shut the door on the reporter, then the reporter's probably not using that footage in the newscast. So yes, if you see the person on the air, then they consented to that interview.
Right. Yeah, it is sometimes. I'm always puzzled. Somebody's there holding their 3-year-old in their arms, and they're talking about a local burglary. You're like, nah, I don't think you ought to have your kid in your arm when you're talking about burglaries. But again, that's not the TV station's decision. That's the person, the interviewee, is making that decision.
I think they probably get nervous, and they just, they're in a heightened state anyway, let's imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Rob Owen joining us on the Afternoon Drive Show. Rob, thanks so much. We appreciate you joining us today. Folks, they want to follow you all at striblive.com, but you're all over social media as well, correct?
Yes, at Rob Owen TV on Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, all of the above.
There you go. And as I always say, thanks for watching TV. So we don't have to all the time. Although I watch a lot of TV, but the old stuff. I'm not much for the new shows. I guess sports. That puts me under old fart category in sports. That's right. Rob, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
We're going to wrap up hour number 2. We're going to talk sports in hour number 3. We're going to open the phone lines after these I can't get the words out. After the 7 o'clock World News Roundup, late edition from CBS. And Nico, you'll give us a weather update, I suppose, after the 7 o'clock news.
If you insist, Doug, because you are the talent and I'm the support staff.
You're the support staff, the lowly support staff. I'd like my coffee cup filled 3/4 full from now on, not half.
Yes,
so keep that in mind. Thank you.
sir.
So, and then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to check in with Lanny Fertitta. We're going to talk to him about Major League Baseball playoffs and the World Series. Another example, Nick and I were talking the other day. This is why baseball is the greatest sport ever. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Chris Parker Jr., Trick or Treat is over. What's going on at Autoland?
Treats continue here at Autoland with 0% for 60 months on all 25 Tucsons and Santa Fe's.
0% for 60 months?
That's right. 0% for 5 years on the award-winning all-wheel drive Tucson and Santa Fe's with third-row seating. Plus 0% on the hybrid Tucson and Santa Fe's. Don't want 0% financing? Choose HMF bonus cash up to $4,500 on Santa Fe's. Winter weather is coming. Now's the time to get your all-wheel drive SUV with 0% financing and have a vehicle big enough for the family and hauling gifts. Did you know Hyundai is also the most awarded brand by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety for the past 2 years?
And every new Hyundai purchase includes Hyundai Assurance, America's Best Warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain protection, and 3-year free complimentary maintenance. Autoland Hyundai, downtown Uniontown, or online at AutolandHyundai.com.
And you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
439-2323. For 24-hour emergency service, call us when you need. We're Fayette's Heating and Air Conditioning, your service company.
Be prepared for bone-chilling winter weather. Have Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning install a Bryant high-efficiency furnace in your home to replace that old worn-out system you now have. Choose Bryant's Plus 90 gas furnace or other quality heating system to keep yourself and your family warm and toasty this winter. Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning will also keep your present furnace running at peak efficiency with their 15-point safety check and cleaning. Call Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning today for your appointment. 724-439-2323. That's Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning, your Bryant dealer, Route 119 north of Uniontown, located near Laurel Mall.
Call Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning, 439-2323, 439-2323, 439-2323, 439-2323.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
My favorite band playing right now over the airwaves, that's The Who, of course, Roger Daltrey. Squeezebox, interesting song with interesting interpretations of the meaning.
Absolutely. We're all adults here. What's it mean, Doug?
Yeah, I'm not going to say. But
please.
The lyrics are, Mama's got a squeeze box she wears on her chest.
When Daddy comes home, he never gets no rest.
No, he never gives her no rest.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Which is even better, frankly, when you think about what the lyrics mean.
Sorry, I need to interpret Who songs better.
I'm thinking, aside from the Grateful Dead, which I saw 27 times, just because they played every day, everywhere, constantly for decades.
27. You traveled around America.
Well, I was in college, and a friend of mine had a Le Car, which is about as big as this desk I'm sitting at.
Yeah.
And we would drive around the Midwest seeing the Grateful Dead. Now, that sounds like a lot of shows, 27 shows. I met people, and no reason why they would be lying, who saw hundreds. They literally traveled around as groupies for years watching every Grateful Dead show. And the other thing Grateful Dead did, too, they had sections of every arena where you could bring in and set up tripod microphones to record the concert.
Wow. That's interesting.
Other places, you record a concert, the police are dragging you out.
You're out, yeah.
They allowed people to do that. So I was saying but the band I've seen the second many times, and they don't nearly tour as much, is The Who. One of my favorite bands. In fact, it's been a few years now since I've seen The Who. I saw The Who several years back with a date who I don't think ever knew what The Who was. She was half my age. And when I said that Ringo's son was their drummer, she did not know who Ringo was.
I would have left.
That was the last time we went out.
Yeah, that's enough.
Later, she said, I said, we had a nice time tonight. I'd never met her before the day. It was a blind date.
Oh.
And I said, you're about the same age almost the same age as one of my daughters. And she said, well, that'd be fine. I'd like to get to know them. We could become friends. I said, no, I'm not dating anybody.
No.
A friend of my daughter's.
Who doesn't know Ringo Starr?
Who doesn't know Ringo. And they fired Ringo's son.
Get out of my life. They did, Zach Starkey.
Zach Starkey. Of course, Richard Starkey is Ringo's real name. We're going to talk sports coming up. We're going to open the lines after the news, so you want to be first up on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk line, 724-438-4593. Give us a call during the news. We'll put you on hold. We'll keep you going. But first, news from New York and then the local weather with Nick.
Shut down air traffic reductions.
It means that people's flights are going to be getting canceled.
More deaths after UPS plane crash.
I'm declaring a state of emergency.
Supreme Court considers sweeping Trump tariffs.
It's a congressional power, not a presidential power to tax.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Heads up, air travelers at some airports starting Friday.
There is going to be a 10% reduction in capacity at 40 of our locations.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says it's to maintain safety during the government shutdown, now the longest in U.S. history at 36 days. Major airline captain Laura Einsettler.
Our job is to be, our safety is our priority. So we need to make sure at all times, in all circumstances, we are flying everyone safely to where they want to go.
The agency is confronting staffing shortages caused by air traffic controllers who are working unpaid, resulting in delays across the country. The Kentucky governor's office confirms at least 12 people have died after yesterday's fiery crash of a UPS cargo plane shortly after takeoff from that city's airport. Federal investigators are now on the scene. NTSB member Todd Inman says the plane's 2 black boxes have been found and sent to D.C. Also,
we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll.
Governor Andy Beshear has declared a state of emergency.
It allows us to move resources more quickly through emergency management and the Kentucky National Guard. It allows state resources to be used also through our agencies to be readily available.
The Supreme Court has heard arguments on whether President Trump legally used emergency powers to impose tariffs on more than 100 countries.
Most of the justices seem skeptical of Trump's use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEPA. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
As I understand it, that the IEPA was designed and intended to limit presidential authority.
Solicitor General D. John Sauer argued for the administration.
IEPA confers major powers to address major problems on the president, who is perhaps the most major actor in the realm of foreign affairs.
The court's questioning raises doubts about the centerpiece of Trump's economic agenda. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
In a video message posted to Truth Social, President Trump reiterates,
because of other countries' testing programs, I've instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately.
A federal judge orders authorities to improve conditions at an ICE facility in suburban Chicago after a group of detainees sue, alleging they were kept in inhumane conditions. Stocks rose on Wall Street. Now this.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Fresh off his win over Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa, New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani announces his transition leaders and says,
the White House hasn't reached out to congratulate me. I continue to be interested in having a conversation with President Trump on the ways in which we could work together to serve New Yorkers.
President Trump is criticizing the outcome of the New York City mayor's race.
After last night's results, the decision facing all Americans could not be more clear. We have a choice between communism and common sense.
Speaking to business leaders in Miami, the president sought to link the new mayor of New York to congressional Democrats.
Their party installed a communist as the mayor of the largest city in the nation.
Democrats also won the governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
You're listening to the CBS World News Roundup.
No, it's not too soon to start holiday shopping. Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday event is happening now through November 22nd. Shop $10 beauty minis from brands like MAC and Too Faced. Take 30% off Lancome and Touchland fragrances and body mists. With new offers dropping every week, our associates can help you find the perfect gifts. Head into Ulta Beauty today to shop our early Black Friday event. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
At Bank of America, we asked our people, how do you take ownership of your career?
I'm able to grow my way by putting the priorities that I have for my career first.
I thrive on being a leader who's behind the team, not in front of the team.
Every few years, I'm being re-energized because I get to do something different and learn something new.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
A jury in Virginia has started deliberations in a lawsuit filed against a former school administrator accused of ignoring repeated warnings that a 6-year-old had a gun hours before a teacher was shot in her first-grade classroom in 2023. Former teacher Abby Zwerner filed the $40 million lawsuit against Ebony Parker, an ex-assistant principal at Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News. A bullet damaged her left hand and remains in her chest. Positive and negative news in this year's American Lung Association State of Lung Cancer Report. CBS's Allison Keyes.
Laura Kate Bender at the American Lung Association says,
"This is just a story of hope."
She says doctors are detecting lung cancer earlier when it's more likely to be curable, and people are living longer after diagnosis. But Bender warns federal funding cuts are putting that progress at risk.
There's been funding and staffing cuts at NIH and CDC, and there's been cuts to healthcare.
Bender says lives hang in the balance. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
7 minutes past the hour.
Vanity Fair calls BritBox a delicious streamer. Collider says everyone should be watching. Catch Britain's next best series with BritBox. Stream acclaimed new originals like Code of Silence.
You read lips, right?
And Linley, based on the best-selling mystery series.
Say hi, Linley. Take it from here.
And don't miss the new season of Karen Pirie coming this October.
You don't look like police. I'll take that as a compliment.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox. Watch with a free trial today.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
FIFA will give out a new award recognizing individuals promoting peace and unity.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino said the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize will be awarded at the draw for the World Cup, which he announced from the Oval Office in August would be taking place
on the 5th of December here in the Kennedy Center in Washington.
Infantino is tight with President Trump, who he's praised for his diplomatic efforts. Naturally, there's speculation swirling online that Trump, who was passed over for the Nobel Peace Prize last month, may receive the award. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Starbucks union members have voted to strike at U.S. stores next week unless the company finalizes a contract agreement. The strike would begin on November 13th, the company's very busy Red Cup Day, during which it distributes free reusable red cups. That's the World News Roundup Late Edition for Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. I'm Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Take the fact book.
Caring for an aging parent or a loved one with medical needs? FACT, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, can help. Seniors 65 and older ride free on our fixed routes. People with disabilities get discounted shared rides. And if your loved one has medical assistance, their trips to doctors or treatment are covered under the shared ride program. Give them safe, reliable independence and yourself peace of mind. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. FACT, your community, your connection. One of the most incredible architectural masterpieces in the United States is right here in Fayette County. And this fall is your chance to see the work being done to preserve this national treasure as work continues to fortify Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, a world-famous work of architecture that's on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Falling Water invites you to Fayette County Appreciation Day on Sunday, November 23rd to see their multi-year historic preservation effort in action, in addition to the always breathtaking home itself. Falling Water is offering free tours for Fayette County residents on Sunday, November 23rd. Book your free tour of Falling Water in advance by calling 724-329-8501. Falling Water's Preservation in Action tours will take place between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Be sure to make your reservation in advance and don't miss your chance to witness this once-in-a-lifetime preservation tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water.
Live Casino is celebrating its 5-year anniversary by giving away $50,000 in prizes. Get in on the fun November 17th through 23rd. Play with your Live Rewards card for a chance to win your share of $50,000 in prizes. Plus, enjoy $5 specials all week long, like our $5 social margaritas, $5 nachos, $5 pretzels, and more. Celebrate 5 at Live. Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Attention Medicare eligible recipients. The Medicare open enrollment period for 2026 runs from October 15th until December 7th. This is the time to call local agent Brenda Myers at 724-437-7255 and let her show you the various Medicare Advantage plans and Part D prescription drug plans and see which best fits your current healthcare needs and your budget. Brenda will also update you on the changes for 2026 and how they will affect you. With many years' experience, Brenda Myers can help you decide which plan will work best for you. Brenda Myers has been helping Medicare beneficiaries with their healthcare insurance for many years and represents a variety of companies to offer you more choices. This open enrollment period is your opportunity to make changes to your healthcare plan and save money. Call Brenda Myers today at 724-437-7255. That's 724-437-7255 for Brenda Myers.
Mahoney's, across from the post office in downtown Uniontown. It's the place to be for great entertainment. Live bands every Saturday in November. Get ready to laugh during comedy night. Fridays at Mahoney's with professional comedians. Have fun on Wednesdays with karaoke. And coming soon, line dancing on Thursdays. Sponsored by Autoland Hyundai. The kitchen with delicious food from Nene's Diner will also be open till 9 p.m. So bring your friends for an evening of entertainment and great food at Mahoney's, across from the post office in downtown Uniontown. Mahoney's.
Zen's Antiques and Home Decor, part of the Cinder Shack family of vendors, where you can find both antique and new furniture, collectibles, housewares, gift items, including jewelry and candles, and so much more. Follow Zen's Antiques and Home Decor on Facebook for new items and information on upcoming events. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor in Building 2 at 3391 National Pike in Farmington. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor.
It's the late edition of the Afternoon Drive Show. I've been on the air a lot lately. I appreciate Brian Morozak giving me the opportunity. Filled in for Russ yesterday on What's on Your Mind, and of course did the show yesterday from 5 to 7, and again tonight after the 5 o'clock news yesterday I was on till 8. And then, of course, we had great election coverage last night at 9:30. I want to thank again Commissioner Scott Dunn for joining us earlier, explaining the Election Day glitch, which was entirely the fault of the state. If you weren't listening earlier, the state sent out the list of voters in Fayette County, 79,000 registered voters, and that list, of course, is computerized. And it did. The list was named when they looked at the list, and they get it only a couple of days before Election Day. It mentioned that that it was for the 2025 general election. Well, they did not realize until people started voting that it was the 2024 list. And the only way to know that, somebody comes in who recently maybe changed registration, maybe moved, maybe requested a paper ballot last time but didn't this time. Even happened to Commissioner Dunn. He said he went in to vote, and they said, you've already voted because you voted by paper, but that was a year ago. So I think the county did a pretty darn good job getting that resolved. But again, this was entirely from the State Bureau of Elections. The Secretary of State, it's called the Department of State in Pennsylvania, not to be confused with the Secretary of State at the federal level. And he said there were a few minor problems. Well, sending the 79,000 list of 79,000 voters that's a year old is not a minor problem.
No, they're covering their you-know-what.
Yeah, exactly.
But things happen. They were resolved. And good work to the Election Bureau. They get a lot of you-know-what, but they work hard, and that's a hard job.
Yeah, and I guess a scanner broke down somewhere. These things are going to break down, for heaven's sakes.
Humans are doing this
They're all
stuff, and
tested.
Humans are imperfect.
Yeah, hey, listen to this show.
Certainly these two. Yeah.
So you listen to this show, and it's a great example of
Well,
that.
Doug
We
more
try to
than
be
me.
an example of the general public.
Absolutely.
We make mistakes all the time.
We set the standard.
Yeah, and generally I blame Nick.
Well, there's that. Well, that's what the talent should
Talent
do. The
should
support
blame
staff.
the support staff.
Well, Doug's in a bad mood if I get his coffee order wrong. So
right.
that happens.
That's right. And as I'm drinking coffee right now.
Oh, there you go. That you made yourself, actually.
Anytime I take a break and have a drink of coffee, that's a welcome opportunity for our listeners to have a fine beverage.
Absolutely. Brought to you by... This time out to have a drink brought to you by Espresso.
Because, I don't think there's a man, woman, and child in this country who doesn't enjoy a fine beverage.
Oh, absolutely. Is this from something? Is this an old commercial?
David Letterman used to do that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, David Letterman would take a drink, and then like Paul Schaefer over at the band, he'd take a drink.
Oh, that's great. That's funny.
That was David.
Dave and Paul.
When David Letterman was fun, when he had things like the world's biggest doorknob would swing around.
Well, he got old.
And then
That's
he
what
got old and
happens.
crotchety.
Yeah, it happens.
That's right. Coming up here, we're going to be telling the latest on the Pittsburgh airport. I had a chance recently to tour the new terminal. It is absolutely unbelievable. My brother, who has traveled all over the world, said it reminded him of an airport in Amsterdam, which is an enormous airport there. A lot of international flights come in from Pennsylvania. They were on their way to Africa. I just can't imagine. They flew from an island off the African coast, the western coast of the Africa. 35 hours later, they walked off the plane in Pittsburgh. 4 flights, 35 hours. I think it'd be bringing me home in a body bag at that point. But joining us right now on the WMBS Newsmakers line, the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, from the Pittsburgh International Airport and the Allegheny County Airport Authority, Director of Public Affairs, Bob Kurlick. Bob, we're getting closer and closer to the new building opening. I know there's not an exact date yet, but when I toured it a couple weeks ago, it was amazing. It really looks like something like, okay, what country are we in? The architecture is breathtaking. I know that sounds like one of those exaggerated terms, but it really is a terrific new building.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Doug. I appreciate it. And thanks for coming out, by the way, also on the Community Open House Day. You were part of nearly 10,000 people that came out that wanted to check out the new terminal for the reasons you outlined. It is a fantastic building. The architecture, I think when people get there in person and see the architecture, they're going to be very impressed of what it looks like. And because this is the new front door for the region. And so, people coming to Pittsburgh for the first time, looking to start a business, coming here to whether they're picking a college, or just visiting, right? This is the first impression of our city, and it really is an amazing building when they come into it.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's been lucky over the years. The first Pittsburgh International Airport, which was then called the Greater Pittsburgh International Airport, opened in 1952. Art Deco building, pretty cool. It wasn't just a cinder block building even back then. And then the one comment was always made, you couldn't see the planes in that building. Although, and then the new airport came along, and there were windows everywhere, and I think there's probably 10 times more windows in this new building.
So 100,000 square feet of glass in the new building. So when people come in, that was one of the questions we got a lot was before people saw it was, will I be able to see planes take off? And the way that the new building is designed, when you come into the ticketing level, as you saw, Doug, you have that wall of glass on either side of the ticketing level, and you can see, and you're out there in the middle of the airfield, and you can see planes taking off and landing that are there. We also have the outdoor terraces. We have 4 of them. One will be ready for opening day. The other ones will probably open in the new year. But when you're out there, you'll be able to see planes taking off as well. And, of course, the new parking garage, which is right next to the new terminal. From the roof of that, you can see planes taking off very well as well. Yeah. So a lot of opportunities for people that are looking to plane spot.
When you talk about going out onto a terrace, you're literally talking about going outside where there are plants and grass and benches. This is not just going outside, to find a place to smoke. I'm guessing there's not going to be smoking in those areas. I don't know for sure, but I'm looking at what was going to be there. It wasn't fully done yet when I was there. My brother and Dave and I were there. But you're sitting like a park-like setting. Now, that might be a bit of an exaggeration, but it is not your standard going outside, sitting on a concrete bench along the parking lot.
Right, and they will be smoke-free, by the way.
Good.
And so when you're out there, now, of the 4 of them, 2 will be pre-security, meaning anybody coming to pick up a loved one has the opportunity to go out and check out the outdoor terraces. 2 will be post-security, and 3 of the 4 will be landscaped based on different habitats of Western Pennsylvania. So the forest, I don't have them in front of me, but there'll be a forest habitat. There'll be sort of a ravine type of habitat. So they'll be very interesting. They'll have interesting landscape features, I'll say. And they're constructing a walking path through one of them right now. And it'll just be a very nice amenity for people in Pittsburgh that is a rarity in U.S. airports. Most airports don't have the ability to go outside. And the ones that do, it's usually through club access, right?
Right.
If you've been to JFK, the Delta Club has access out there but that's not for everybody, right? But these terraces will be for everybody that are coming and going. It's a beautiful amenity. And I'll say that when we first designed these pre-pandemic, right, we had these designed in, and then we had a little bit of a delay with COVID, and we actually value engineered them out. And then when the pandemic hit, we thought, wow, there's access to outdoor and fresh air is an important feature, particularly if if we run into if there's a pandemic in the future. We want to make sure that that's an option, and so we put them back in. And we're really glad we did, because it's a really cool feature that other airports do not have.
Yeah. Let's state for the record, we hope there's not another pandemic anytime soon. Once every 100 years, I think, is enough. Spanish flu and then this pandemic. Yeah. So let's hope we're long gone before that sort of thing happens. But you're right, though. You have to address that sort of thing and have an opportunity for people to get outside. As we talked with Bob Kurlick from the Allegheny County Airport Authority, Pittsburgh International Airport, the new terminal building coming online. People always ask, so what's going to happen to the old terminal building? Has that been determined yet?
Not been determined yet, but we are talking to some, the way we've been talking about, that's a day 2+ issue that we'll be focused on after we get the new terminal open. But we are talking to some developers to see if there's any interest in potentially reuse for the building. And if there's not, then eventually it would be raised. So no decisions have been made yet for that, but certainly we'll be looking at those options once the new terminal gets open.
One thing I was amazed about, beyond just what it looked like in the open window, the so many windows in it, was the size of security. Pittsburgh International, people have been out there. Yep. It's got to be twice as big or more than before. Of course, there was the best kept secret. You used to have to take a heck of a long walk to get to the security on what was used to be the E-gates. But all the security's together right here. And it looks twice as big as the current security situation, location.
Yeah, and you would be right. So the checkpoint that we have today, the main checkpoint that we have today has 7 lanes of security. The new checkpoint and the new terminal will have 12 lanes for the public, plus 1 for employees. So if you count that, really there's 13 lanes for people to get through, almost double the size compared to the checkpoint of today. And also the width of the queuing space, right? Today, people may recall or may know, particularly if you're flying out early in the morning, how that line can get backed up all the way down to the Hyatt, right? Down through the moving walkways, through the double doors. We won't have that anymore. There's much, much more adequate queuing space. And because there's one consolidated checkpoint, TSA will be able to adequately deploy staff more efficiently for them. They can dedicate more people to getting passengers through much more quickly. We also will have the latest TSA technology that is there, allowing people to carry liquids through. So you're not going to be slowed down with things like that. We also have the automated bin returns. If you've seen those in some other airports, right, where that automatically returns back and the bin is there for you, again, saving time for people. So we anticipate that the checkpoint will be a much more streamlined and smooth experience for people.
Yeah, the new metal detectors where you put, of course, you put your luggage on, it goes through, looks like something, I don't know, out of the future. Those, I'm like, wow, look at those things. I don't recall seeing those. But that's the latest technology, of course. And of course, you'll have the standard lines, of course, for those who do TSA pre-check and what have you. And then it funnels
and
down.
Clear, yep.
And then there's no more. I'm glad my kids are grown up now because they love the subway. So the subway's gone. You'll be right there. But the other thing, too, is the amount of distance that your luggage had to travel from the airplane to baggage pickup in the current building. At some point, am I exaggerating? Could it have traveled, your baggage have traveled a mile to get for you to pick it up?
Well, more than that, actually.
Wow.
So we have, the terminal, right now, today, the two terminals they sit a half mile apart, okay?
The two buildings.
The two buildings, right. The old, the existing terminal today.
Right.
The new terminal, as you described it, is built right up against the existing airside facility, so that where the gates are, right? So when you go through the checkpoint in the new terminal, there'll be no need for the train because you'll be walking right into the center core of the airport, which is great, right? You're right there. Much, much faster experience for people. So, no need for the train. We're very excited about the time that was, we anticipate that we'll cut the time from curb to gate in half for folks that are going there.
Yeah, this is interesting. I got an email here, which I do during a lot of interviews at radiosaltzman@gmail.com. What are they going to do with the old subway cars? That's a question.
So the old subway cars. So right now, after we turn the train off when we decommission it. For now, we're going to keep the tunnels, and for now, we're going to keep the cars. So no decision's been made on what we're going to do with the cars in the long term. In the short term, we're going to keep them in the tunnel. We'll have one at each end, and then as they get decommissioned. But right now, they're just going to stay in the tunnel.
The second paragraph of that question was Kennywood with a question mark. So I guess that person's hoping they'll go out to Kennywood. That was one of the amazing things, though, that you're building this new terminal building while the airport's running. It's like changing a tire while the car's going down the highway. And it was literally being built over that operating subway tunnel.
That's right. Yeah, and so that's a good way to put it. In fact, that's the way our CEO described it: changing the tire on a moving car, right? Because we wanted to minimize the impact for folks that have been flying out. So we broke ground on this October of 2021. So really, we've had about 4 years of construction, and the existing landside building, because we're not doing construction on that, really you haven't seen any construction impact on folks, which is great. And we've kept the construction impact in the airside facility to a minimum. The center core has been reconfigured. Actually, we just opened up the center core for the first time in about nearly 2 years to folks yesterday.
The center core of where you go to get on the plane, taking it down.
That's right. The center core of the airside terminal.
The middle of the X, I guess, is one.
The middle of the X. That's right. And so, folks, that if you come up from the train, you would be coming up into that center core area. That had been walled off because it had been under renovation for nearly 2 years. But those walls just came down earlier this week. So very happy about that. Folks may have seen some renovations to the gate areas that have been ongoing, but for the most part, it didn't look like, if anybody is familiar with what LaGuardia looked like while they were going under renovations, right? It was very difficult for passengers to be able to get through that. So we were able to minimize that construction for folks as it was ongoing.
I remember going through the Philadelphia airport. I swear it was under construction for 15 years. That was a nightmare at times.
And one more note on the bags I was thinking about that you had asked about earlier. But so right now, part of the reason yes, the terminals are next to each other, but we also had the existing terminal today has 8 miles of bag belt, right? And that's because it was designed really to take your bag from A1 to D76, right? It was designed for the connecting passenger. And so, there's 8 miles of belts that, the bags would have to ride depending on what gate you were at, et cetera. Now we've cut that to 3 miles of bag belt by more than half, and made it much faster for people to get through. But yes.
And it's been tested and retested. No one's ever going to have a situation like the Denver International Airport years ago that had the worst baggage opening day in history. That was legendary.
Well, that's why we've done those public trials. So we had we did 2 public trials where we had the first one. We had about 500 people from the public come in. We ran test bags through. They checked the bags, they put them through. You claimed your bag down a baggage claim, and then we had the larger public trial just a couple weeks ago where we had about 2,000 people come in, which is about a peak time frame for an hour for us to test the baggage system. So those things went well, and then of course we've done more than 40 tests ourselves in terms of groups of people that have been going through, probably closer to 50 at this point. But that's just something we've been continuing to test over and over and over again to make sure that we're ready for opening day. And that is because when opening day occurs, we don't want it to be like opening day. We want it to be like day 100, right? It's just another day of operation.
Exactly. And I'm still disappointed. I did apply to be one of those customers. In fact, I was going to bring out an old broken set of golf clubs and be that guy screaming and yelling that his clubs got ruined, at the airport. But I wasn't picked to do it. I thought I'd be pretty good at that, yeah.
Well, we were glad to have you for Community Day, though, Doug.
Yeah, and I didn't complain at all that day. Last question people are going to ask. It's been all over the news. The Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, just announced it's going to be a 10% cutback on air traffic. You hear about big delays at different airports around the country, whether it's TSA security or the flight controllers. I haven't heard any of that from Pittsburgh.
No, we've been pretty lucky so far. So just the first part of the question, we haven't gotten any notification from the FAA at this time whether that would impact Pittsburgh specifically. Right. So we'll wait to hear more information on that. But as far as the shutdown, generally speaking, yeah, we've been pretty lucky. The staff here at Pittsburgh International, the Transportation Security Administration, the FAA air traffic controllers, the Customs and Border Protection folks that scan people when they're coming in through international flights. I mean, this is a really dedicated group of people, and they are doing a terrific job under difficult circumstances for them, right? I mean, so we have not seen some of the call-offs and delays that other airports have seen in other parts of the country. So we've been very fortunate thus far. And hopefully that this gets resolved soon.
And, of course, it's important to note, too, that the air traffic controllers and the folks at the screening stations, the Transportation Security Administration, these are all federal employees. These are not airport employees. These are not.
That's right.
It's
correct.
A whole different situation. That's great that Pittsburgh is still moving smoothly, and hope that whole matter will get resolved shortly. Bob Curlick, thanks so much. We appreciate your calling us today. I know you had a family event earlier, a meeting you had to go to. If you didn't like the meeting, I hope we got you out of it early. But we appreciate.
Well, it was a meeting for my fourth graders. A coaching meeting for my fourth graders basketball. So I had to. We were getting our rosters and our practice schedule. So
coaching fourth graders basketball, that gets you right into heaven, I think. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Right up there, like being on school board or something. Yeah, that's having coached for many, many years. I know what that's like. That's for sure. And I was never smart enough to coach the older kids. I always did the younger kids because, frankly, I think I knew less about the sport when I was done. Well, we want to check in with you.
Put me in that group too, Doug.
Yeah, I used to coach soccer. You kids kick towards the parking lot. You kids kick towards the trees. That was about my my coaching skills. We do want to check back with you over the next couple of weeks. I know there's not a definite open date yet for the terminal, and we'll check in with you to find out that information coming up in the next few weeks.
That's right. And as soon as we have something, happy to come back on and talk.
Perfect. Thanks, Bob. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. Good guy, Bob Curlick, joining us from the Allegheny County Airport Authority, Pittsburgh International Airport. Next, we're going to talk baseball, our final baseball discussion of the year on the 2025 season. Lanny Frattare, who better? We're going to talk to him about playoffs. We're going to talk to him about the World Series. But first, this is the Afternoon Drive Show, the late edition, on your local station, WMBS Uniontown.
As the gift-giving season gets closer and near, our quaint little shop is filled with gift-giving cheer. These shelves overflowing from floor to top tier. Stop, browse, and shop. You'll think Santa's been here. Gifts made for giving or something just for yourself. You pick it, we'll wrap it, like having your own personal elf. Strap, 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown. Holiday-themed jewelry, fun fashion turquoise, handbags, boots, accessories, candles, gifts, and lots more. All wrapped up in a nice shopping environment. Very modest pricing, unique selections, friendly customer service, and fun hospitality. Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 5 and Saturdays from 10 to 3. Our 4th annual Boots, Bags, and Bling Holiday Shopping Open House is on Saturday, December 6th from 11 to 5. Refreshments, door prizes, a fun-filled event, and everyone is welcome. Strap, 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown, 724-557-6184. Shop small, shop local, shop tangible, Shop Strap.
Tune in to WMBS Saturday mornings at 8:20 for Your Financial Future with Gary Boatman, certified financial planner, investment advisory representative, syndicated columnist, and author, as he addresses such income issues as planning for retirement, future healthcare expenses, avoiding financial pitfalls, and much more. That's Your Financial Future with Gary Boatman, Saturday mornings at 8:20 right here on WMBS, where Gary Boatman welcomes your calls at 724-243-3075. That's 724-243-3075.
It's a new day at WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital, and we're bringing a new level of quality health care to our community. From primary care to specialty services, our team has always put patients first. And now, thanks to our merger with WVU Medicine, our commitment to patient-centered care has grown even stronger. With new resources, a growing staff, and advanced technology, our team is here to provide you with top-quality care when it matters most. Discover the new Uniontown Hospital and see how we've grown.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Now, you don't have to travel too far for medical marijuana products. Go to Local Leaf in Scottdale for a wide variety of locally grown and locally sourced products, plus your questions answered on medical marijuana, qualifying medical conditions, or how to register for your medical card. Local Leaf by PHG off Route 119 in Scottdale, 412-417-4964. Online at localleafpa.com. Local Leaf, your medical marijuana dispensary with locally grown and locally sourced products in Scottdale.
That is the Grateful Dead bring us out of the break. I'm not sure if our next guest is or was a Deadhead in the day. I went to 27 Grateful Dead concerts. Does that make me a Deadhead? I don't know if it does.
That seems excessive.
And driving around during college days in the early 80s, driving around in a car throughout the Midwest, seeing the Grateful Dead at various places.
There you go.
As I've said before, I saw 27 shows. I met people who've saw 500 shows. They spent years just traveling on the country on a trust fund, no doubt.
I'd love them. Yeah.
And joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line to talk about Major League Baseball playoffs, the World Series. Who better than the longtime voice of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Lanny Frattare. Also, I guess, Professor Emeritus. We'll give you that title as well. How are you, Lanny?
I am well, Doug. Thank you very much. And as always, thanks for inviting me. You show me tremendous respect by asking me to be on your program frequently, and you must obviously think that I have something to say, so thank you very much for that. By the way, Doug, I want to tell you I have something is going to happen in my life a week from Friday, and I'm a nervous wreck about this. On Friday, November 14th, I have been asked to announce a West Virginia women's volleyball match.
Oh, all right.
And I have never announced volleyball before, and so I'm spending all this time trying my darndest, just working hard to figure out, watching volleyball matches and going on the internet to study about the terminology and about the players. And as I said, I'm a nervous wreck about this.
Now, are you announcing on... I assume this is on TV, not radio.
Yeah, it's ESPN Plus. It's West Virginia against ESPN Plus, which is the same network that on which I announced West Virginia baseball. But the gentleman, Scott Bartlett, who hires me for baseball, told me that he said, we're in a real bind. We need somebody to announce volleyball. And fortunately, I will be working with a talented individual, Samantha Bailey, who will be my color analyst. And so I'm going to try to stay out of her way because I figure that the less I talk, the less chance, the better the chances. I mean, if I don't talk too much, then I probably am helping myself reduce the possibility that I'll say something stupid.
Well, you just said something that disappointed me. I was going to offer to be your color commentator because, I've played a lot of church picnic volleyball games over the years. So I consider myself, I don't know what I'm talking about. But that'd be interesting. I mean, I guess I could.
Church picnic volleyball. Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's different. You have 14 people on each side. And, I think I could call a game like that. They hit it. We hit it. Yeah. We hit it twice. We spiked it. I guess
you could do it.
Yeah,
but good luck, Lanny.
I'd be a nervous
for
wreck,
you.
too, for heaven's sakes. I get nervous
when
thank
you.
Well, that'll be true. We'll have to tune in for heaven's sakes.
I will be, for sure.
A watch party.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do it. ESPN.
Lanny announcing volleyball watch party. We'll have one here in Uniontown.
Yeah, I've done 7,000 baseball games in my life, but this is number one for me.
That's
volleyball.
Awesome.
Well, how many different sports have you done? You've done basketball, of course, and
I've done basketball, football. I've done hockey. I was a really good hockey announcer in the minor leagues. I was really a good. I did 2 years of minor league hockey, Rochester Americans, and I really believe I was a pretty good hockey announcer.
They always say that's the hardest game to call.
No, it isn't.
Oh, it's
not.
No. Oh, really?
No. Baseball is the hardest sport to call.
Agreed.
Oh, okay. Now, why is that?
Well, there's three reasons. Number one, most sports have a regular pace to them, a regular rhythm to them. And so you, as a broadcaster, timing and rhythm are very important. And it's easier to get into a rhythm with football, hockey, basketball. I don't know about volleyball. The second thing is that because there are not those exciting moments consistently in baseball, you have to find ways to add not overexcitement, but you have to give that through the tone of your voice, the drama. Here's the windup and the 3-2 pitch where the runner's going. You have to find a way to get through to your audience that this is something that's a big deal that's happening here. And the third thing is that to be a good baseball announcer, you need to know the game and the rules of baseball without question. You can get by doing hockey, basketball, and baseball and not know the rules. You just follow what the officials tell you. Mm-hmm. But you need to know, to be a good baseball announcer, you need to know about the game so that if there's a runner at third and one out, your audience needs to know infield in, infield back. The third strike dropped by a catcher with no outs or one out as opposed to with two outs. All of those things, you as a matter of fact, that was probably the most challenging aspect of my career with the Pirates, was realizing that to be a good baseball announcer, I had to know the game and know it so well that it would enhance my broadcasts. And quite obviously, though I had been around the game of baseball a long time, it took me a while to make sure that I had the real intricacies of the game down pat by talking to players, coaches, and managers, so I could be as good a baseball announcer as I wanted to be.
This portion of our interview started with me saying that hockey was the hardest one. I will never say that again, based on a very thorough explanation, Lanny. Let me tell you, I never would have thought that.
Let me tell you that hockey and basketball, if you know how you want to refer to the locations on the ice, and you do a good job of memorizing players' names, mm-hmm. And their numbers, and then as I learned from doing hockey, that when you work for one team, you even start developing. You pick up the skating habits of players, so that even if you don't see their numbers, you can identify them because of the way they skate. And so, like I said, I mean, once you know the numbers, or once you can identify the players, and once you have set in your mind locations on the ice, then you just go, and it's not that difficult.
We'll get to the World Series in a bit, but Lanny, is the amount of hours you put in to prepare for a game different from sport to sport? Do you spend more time on, say, a football game as opposed to a baseball game, or how does it break down from sport to sport?
No, I've told my students in Waynesburg, if you're not you're not preparing 10, 12, 13 hours to do a sporting event. I mean, I received word on Saturday about this volleyball game, and I mean, I've already put in 6 hours of work.
Wow.
And I've made phone calls to people that know volleyball. That I mean, I had a phone call the other day with a gentleman that does volleyball and knows volleyball, and we were on the phone for an hour together. So, but no, I mean, there are, for example, there are some things with football. You have to create spotter boards, and that takes hours.
Right.
Basketball scorecards, not as much time. Your baseball scorecard really is created when you get to the ballpark because you can't fill in the numbers and the names until you get the batting order. So, but if you don't do your homework, if you don't do a lot of homework, then you can't be a good sportscaster. You just can't.
Real quickly, have you ever done golf or tennis for any outlet or horse racing?
I
or
have
any
not. No, I have not.
Sport?
I grew up in a bowling alley, so I was always tempted to do bowling on the radio.
Nice. Bowling on the radio.
Bowling on the radio.
Well, I've heard that it's been done. I've heard that some stations have done that. But
wow.
I've always been tempted to want to do bowling on the radio because, as I said, I grew up in a bowling alley, and so I know the sport pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah, my dad had an 8-alley bowling alley when I was growing up. When I was in high school and college, and as a matter of fact, when I was in high school, I would spend the bowling alley my folks had. There was an apartment above the bowling alley. And so we spent the weekends up there. We'd go up Friday night and stay there till Sunday. And so one of the fun things that I learned as a teenager was what you do is, like at 12 o'clock at night when the customers are all gone, you turn the lights out in the house. You turn all the lights out in the bowling alley except the lights
in the lanes.
from the alley, from the lane. And bowl, and it's moonlight bowling, and it's a lot of fun.
It's as our listeners know, I've been in the same bowling league since 1979, the Bethlehem Lutheran Church Men's Bowling League, and that league's 105 years old, and there's been a saltsman in it since my grandfather came home from World War I, since 1920. Let's talk World Series. The one thing that caught me, and I'll just jump right to this, you had a runner on third base, bases loaded, a ground ball to second base, and a Major League Baseball player decided, was it Connor Falefa? I forget who it was.
I think it was.
It decided they had to slide into home plate, even though it was a force out, and the catcher did not have to tag the runner, and he was called out by a nanosecond. If he had run full speed right through home plate, the Blue Jays would have won the game. I just couldn't believe that when I saw that. How does a Major League player think he has to slide into home plate on a force out? It really cost them the series.
How about the double play from the fly ball in the outfield? And the other, I think during the other playoff before the World Series, about the pitcher that should have thrown to first base to end the inning, and he got all shook up and threw it home. And so, I suspect two things about that. Number one, I suspect that whenever you're on that big stage, and particularly the World Series, there are going to be things that happen, and I suspect, well, I know, if you go back in the history of baseball, there have been a great many number of times when a player did something really wrong and stupid. And the other thing, too, is I suspect, I got to be careful with it, but my sense is, because I've been out of the game now for 16 years, but I suspect that the players today don't have as strong a knowledge of the strategy. And, I mean, how many times have we argued about or been critical of players that don't hit the cutoff man or throw to the wrong base? So...
or they have to decide after they catch it where they want to throw it. That should be in their head before the ball's in their glove.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were all taught as young baseball players before the ball's thrown, before the pitch is thrown, think about if the ball's hit to me, what am I going to do with it? That was pretty basic for those of us when we were growing up playing baseball.
Was it the third base coach's job to tell Connor Falefa, by the way, don't slide, run as fast as you can right through home plate, which that doesn't happen too often in baseball, that there's a force out at home. But isn't that the responsibility of the third base coach to say, do not slide, just run as fast as you can? It seems so basic, and I don't half the time I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to baseball, but that just seemed like they'd have won the series, it'd have been over.
Well, probably one of the more impressive, instinctive plays in World Series history is the base running job that Mickey Mantle did in Game 7 against the Pirates. Mantle was at first, runner at third, and a ground ball to first. First baseman stepped on the bag, and Mantle went sliding back into first base and avoided the tag of the first baseman, and the run scored, and that what led to the need for the Yankees to in the ninth inning. So most base runners would just automatically break for second base and probably be out. But in that case, Mantle knew once the first baseman touched first base, Mantle had a right to come back to the bag, and it was no longer a force play.
And it was such a great postseason and series with so many great moments. Lanny Yamamoto's 2 complete games. I'm sure Steve Blass was thrilled about that. But Shohei Ohtani, we have to address him. He pitches at an exceptional level, hits at an exceptional level. Where do you put him all time? And is he an all-time player right now? I mean, he's in his prime. But when you watch him and you think of all the great players you've covered and studied, where do you rank him?
Well, I think it's premature to rank them. One of the things that anybody that cherishes the game of baseball and has respect for the game of baseball knows that to be one of the greats of the game, it has to be done over a period of time. It has to be done over an extended period of time. Now, I suspect from what I've heard about him and what I've seen from him is that he's going to put it together for an extended period of time. But remember, there have been a lot of men that have had great moments for a short period of time, and then their careers didn't turn out to be the way they thought it would be. Same thing. I think it's true in any sport, but particularly in baseball, we embrace the greatness of the need for longevity before we start throwing the label, greatest of all time. That would be unfair to players like Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and Henry Aaron and etc. If you don't maintain that this has got to be done over an extended period of time, then you're insulting the true greats of the game.
Yeah, we had your former colleague Steve Blass on the air with us last week, and we asked him about the special one-player-only Ohtani rule that you can walk off the mound into the dugout. They pull you as a pitcher, and then you get to keep playing. It only applies to one person. Steve thought that should not be the case. What's your thoughts on that Ohtani
No,
rule?
it shouldn't. No, and by the way, I won't tell you who, but I've talked to a baseball man that I truly respect, and he does not believe that's right.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to make sense. You walk off the field, you're done. This is not football or soccer where you can go back and off the field regularly. Yeah,
or that the rule should have been created a long time ago. That this is the way we approach this development.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, by the way, speaking of Steve, let me tell you about Steve Blass, who I met back in 1974 in Charleston, West Virginia. 2 things about Steve Blass. Okay, first of all, number one, I believe Steve Blass should have been the MVP of the '71 World Series.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And not Roberto Clemente.
Yep.
And second of all, if you were to list, and I've done this, if you were to list the top 10 people in Pirate history that have been great ambassadors for the team, considering their careers and what they've done on the field as player manager and what they've done in the community, there is no, and I mean this strongly, there is no person that has been a better ambassador for the Pittsburgh Pirates than Steve Blass.
No, I certainly agree with that.
Yeah, agreed.
A Pirate for life, Steve Blass. I always joke with him. I said, there's only been 3 books I've read 3 times. Only 2 books I've read 3 times. His book and Rocky Blyer's book. But you're absolutely right.
I thought you were going to say War and Peace.
As an English major, I guess I shouldn't say this. I've never read War and Peace.
Wow.
But just his commitment, and he goes to an event and he's got people doing belly laughs, for heaven's sakes. The stories he can tell based on his experience and his commitment to this region, and he's not a hometown boy. This is his adopted town. And he still stayed true as well to his hometown. No, I think, in fact, I think that's a great way to end this interview.
Yeah.
And here he's, he comes on our show just like you do. You don't have to do this stuff for us. And we have a great time talking to him. He's still the only one. And there was two things we were saying. We don't want somebody pitching a complete Game 7 in the World Series. And we didn't want someone to get a walk-off home run in Game 7. We wanted Maz and Steve to have those to themselves. And it was nice to hear those names mentioned so often during the World Series, both Maz and Blas. It was great to hear those names come up regularly. Different era of baseball, but to have those names still coming up, just terrific. So very nice of you to say that about Steve. He's just such a decent guy, and I've met him just in social situations, and he's just a pleasant, nice, friendly guy.
Hey, by the way, and sometimes think about what I just said a moment ago about the great ambassadors of Pirate history. And again, the premise for you is stars on the field or big-time managers and being a valuable asset for the team and the community, willing to go out. Steve Blass, Kent Tekulve, Sean Casey, these are guys that when you call them to do something, the first words out of their mouth are not, how much do I get? Okay? Steve Blass has done thousands of appearances, never been paid a dime for them.
Right.
And here's a guy that didn't reach stardom and didn't participate in the major leagues when players were making millions of dollars. Okay? He had some just basic contracts. So the fact that Steve, at his age and throughout his career, even though he had a career that came to an abrupt end, and it was an embarrassing situation for Steve, how he dealt with that, how he dealt with the embarrassment of not being able to throw the ball over the plate and see his career end the way it did, and then still stay on as a first-class individual. There's no doubt Steve number one. And sometime when you're just driving down the road, think about it. Who are some of the other guys? Bob Prince, yes.
Yeah.
Jim Leland, yes. Kent Tekulve, yes. Honus Wagner, yes. Just think about it, and because it's one thing to be a contributor to a franchise by way of what your job is and what you get paid for. It's another thing to be doing great work, charity work, helping other people by way of the fact that you have a name in the community. And I'm, you mentioned Rocky Bleier with the Steelers. I'm sure if you thought about it with the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys like Rocky Bleier, Andy Russell, et cetera. I think that's a valuable, important ingredient for a franchise.
And let's hope that continues into the future. We'd like to see that keep going with younger players, although the way they bounce around team to team anymore.
Well, and the problem with that is that players today don't live in Pittsburgh. Baseball players, when Steve and Jim Rooker and Kent Tekulve and Nellie Bryles and all those guys, they stayed in Pittsburgh in the off season because they wanted to make some money making appearances, et cetera, and then hope that they would get some kind of job. Steve sold high school rings after he retired from baseball before he became a broadcaster. Yeah. Here's a World Series hero that's going into high schools around Western Pennsylvania selling rings, and his ego is not so big that he can't do that.
Yeah. I remember seeing Richie Hebner as a rink guard at South Park Ice Skating Rink, for heaven's sake. Hey, Lanny, great way to end the interview with you. We're coming up on a hard break for the news at the top of the hour. Thanks so much for joining us and talking baseball and talking broadcasting as well. We weren't planning to do that, but my gosh, that was a great part of this conversation. So thanks so much, Lanny.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Good luck next week, Lanny. We'll be listening.
Oh, yeah. We will
thank
definitely
you.
be.
Thank you very much.
Good luck, buddy.
Listening and watching.
Pray for me, please.
Yeah, we'll put you on the prayer list at church.
Absolutely. Thanks, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one.
Later.
That's awesome. I cannot wait to hear Lanny Fratteri call volleyball.
Volleyball. That's terrific. Obviously, our interview went long there, so I guess we'll just wrap things up right now. We're about 30 seconds away from the CBS News at the top of the hour. You'll get the updated forecast as well from Nick. Thanks for listening. It's good to be with you the last couple of days. Been on the air quite a bit here at WMBS. I want to thank Brian Moreau.